Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beegler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And this is Friday Night Tights. It is back after a 2-week hiatus. And as always, now with me in parts unknown is our good friend Comix Divison. What's up, Comix?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, Gary?
I'm doing. I'm in Surrealville right now. So I'm obviously not at Star Wars Celebration like I was supposed to be. Had a hotel room, had the flight booked, was ready to go.
Dude, I'm surprised, man. I thought you moved your entire office to that hotel room just so you could replicate everything.
I did. You didn't see my San Diego Comicon live streams where I did bring I brought like a mobile action figure background, which I will do next year.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm not there. Nerdrotic Jr. got sick. Actually, I'm sick too. I'm like everybody got the plane crud. And I'm honestly, I wish I was watching the live streams and everybody having a good time, and I wish I was there, but I feel like crap right now, and so does Nerdrotic Jr. So
did you see Jeremy's photo of was it Darth Disney and Slave Lucas?
No, was that on Twitter?
Yeah, that was, dude. I'll send it to you, man. It's hilarious.
Yeah, send it to me. That is brilliant. Yeah, so I'm really sorry I'm not there. Jeremy hooked me up with a hotel room and everything, and oh man, somebody hooked me up with a media pass too. It really sucks, and it was a last minute decision, and it was basically like lighting $600 on fire because that is a non-refundable plane ticket, but that's the way it goes, man.
Yeah.
Oh, parenting. I probably would have toughed it out if it was just me, but I can't leave Junior alone for long periods of time. Because he's special needs. So, but we have plenty to talk about because the Star Wars trailer dropped today and Star Trek Discovery aired yesterday and it still sucks. You watched the Orville. I watched the Orville. It does not suck. You watched Hellboy, so you can give your thoughts. I watched Doom Patrol, so I can give my thoughts on the last 2 episodes. I also watched the first couple episodes of The Twilight Zone, which sucks balls, by the way. It is terrible. It is SJW garbage. I mean, there's no nice way to put that. It is everything Doomcock said it was.
I need to check that out. That's something I might end up reviewing or something.
Dude, it's the what is it, the T-woke zone.
That's terrible.
It's freaking awful. Hey, you've been burning the candle at both ends, so better take care of yourself and your son. Yes, Montana Horseman. And Comix Divison and I were just discussing that when you get, well, I mean, you're not as old as me, but when you get a little bit older,
I'm close. I'm close.
Yeah, you can't burn the midnight oil that much, or the body kind of rebels. So,
big time.
Yeah, the woke zone. That's what it is.
Woke zone. The woke light zone.
Jesus Christ. And like there and again, Doomcock did a couple great reviews on it. I almost feel like I don't need to. I mean, he kind of said everything I was going to say. And the hate behind the storytelling is incredible. And it's a lot like what's the what was that Antifa saying? Or I don't know if it was an Antifa saying or if it's just a revolutionary saying where it's we had the paraphrasing here, there's a bullet for Democrats too.
No, it's liberals get the bullet too.
Yeah, liberals get the bullet too. Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's wow. It's I was kind of shocked. I was like, whoa, hey ho, easy now, Tiger.
So is there a lot of white man bad in it?
It's all white man bad. The first 2 episodes are all white man bad.
Wow.
I mean, especially the second one, especially remaking, just the fact that they remade Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, which has already been redone twice. Now they did it differently. They did it a lot differently, which conceptually, I can't even say words right now, would have been good if they would have dialed back the wokeness, but whatever. And I didn't want to see it until after I was done flying, to be honest with you. A little superstitious. We got a couple super chats here, and then we'll get to you guys in the chat. I want to hear what all of you thought of the Star Wars trailer. And of course, I want to hear what you thought. Big Red Bear. What is up, the Big Red Bear? Canadian $10. What a joke of a trailer. They're going to really pull Palpatine out of all of this. How? Why? What nonsense? Just so we can watch Rey defeat Sidious? Why even bother with the previous two movies? These are all good questions, the Big Red Bear. And the question is, they were not out of ideas. They never had them.
That's a good way of putting it. My reaction to it is they just can't stop defiling the corpse of Star Wars.
No, yeah, it is. We are in code blue. We are in some serious code blue. I don't care how she died, long she smells of formaldehyde. I F the dead. Punk rock song. Sorry.
No, was it? I've heard that song. I can't remember who sang it though.
Oh, I would remember it if I had half a brain cell right now. And it was. God damn it!
It sounds like a Misfits song, but not really.
Oh god, let's just Google "I F the Dead" and we'll see what. Maybe that's going to come up with It's Gigi Allen.
Oh yeah, go figure. Yeah, Gigi Allen.
Gigi Allen, who probably one of the worst human beings ever to live.
Big time.
Ever. And really died how he lived.
Big time.
Yeah, dude. Just
Artemis over easy. This is great. I mean, I think we now have a new jump the shark, jump the TIE fighter. That's fantastic.
I'm applauding you, Artemis.
I don't know if Artemis came up with it, but yeah, that's epic, dude.
I'm gonna give you credit because it's in our chat, so that makes it official in our little
world. Scarecho 2311 said it first that I saw.
Okay. Well, then there you go. He's got the credit. Artemis, we still love you. Peter Davison, Australian $5. Live long, eat pizza. I've had my fill of pizza for a little while, but and right now food just sounds awful. I just even saying the word pizza made me go a little bit. But no, I will try to live long and eat pizza when I feel better. Peter Davison, say hello to Mom for me in Australia. By the way, I know we have a lot of Doctor Who subscribers here. It's been way too long since I've done a Doctor Who video. I actually have two coming out I have one half done. It could have been done today, but I decided to take a nap. That didn't happen because of my dogs. So yeah, I've got one coming out.
Did you hear about the article that came out pretty recently where one of the older actors was criticizing it?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing the video on.
All right.
And it's the second time an old time companion has come out and said that the show's a little they criticize it, but then they end the article with going, well, maybe I'm old. And that's the narrative that's trying to be pushed, and that's what the video's about. So Larry Hutchcroft, thank you for the $5. This is my first ever live stream. This is for coffee. Thank you, Larry, and I will use it for coffee. I use a lot of this for coffee. And thank you all for the super chats and joining us here on Friday Night Tights. I'll get back in the groove. I think in the last year, I'd only missed like one or two Friday Night Tights. So it's weird to miss two in a row. It's really weird to miss two in a row. But I'll go as long as I can. Like I said, guys, I am completely under the weather right now, but I missed you guys. Peter Davison, thank you. Australian $5. We'll say hello to Mother. It's good to see everybody back. I am so happy to be live streaming. Okay, Comix Division, what'd you think of the Star Wars trailer?
I was completely underwhelmed. Like I said, I felt like Disney is not done defiling the corpse of Star Wars at this point. It's like it's bad enough that they had to dig out poor Billy D. Williams. And then we get Palpatine at the end, and It's like there's an article I want to read from the Hollywood Reporter that talks about this is the reason why they had to do it. It's like, no. And I saw Dark Empire being mentioned in there. It's like, please God, don't ruin Dark Empire. Don't try and use the material. The trailer was complete shit, in my opinion. And I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, so she's like, did you see the trailer? I was like, yeah. And she's like, what were your thoughts? I was like, I'm underwhelmed. It's like, I don't know if she really knew what to think of it. I was like, we kind of got in this discussion about how Ray is a Mary Sue, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, and we start going on, and she's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm thinking of the girl from Rogue One. Never mind, you're right."
She was kind of a Mary Sue too.
Oh yeah,
she dies at the end. So sorry, spoilers. Yeah, that's the I didn't bring that up in my damn video after I had sent it up. I'm like, God damn it, I meant to say that and I didn't. But yes, Dark Empire is where they're going to go from that. Dark Empire, which to me is the true sequel to the original trilogy, and it is a damn fine story from Dark Horse Comics, and it was in the early days.
Early
as a matter
days.
of fact, was it not? I don't know if I can't remember if it was the first Star Wars comic by Dark Horse. I can't remember. I know the books had just come out in the early 90s, the Timothy Zahn books, and that was kind of the start of the resurgence. I know there was some game out there, but I mean, I'm talking about like getting it at there in mass popular culture, because not everybody was role playing in the late 80s. Actually, you were a true blue nerd if you were doing that kind of stuff, right? Comics Division. Yeah.
Check this shit out, man. I was playing Western Games Star Wars. So yeah, I am a big time Star Wars nerd. And a lot of stuff that came from the EU actually came from Western Games.
And that
we get the word Twi'lek from Western Games.
Western Games, was it not like the one thing that was in between 1985 and 1991? What was it, 90 when the Timothy Zahn book came out?
I don't remember, but
yeah. So Star Wars Dark Empire is a fabulous story. There is an audio, a full dramatized audio version of it out there somewhere. I think you can get it on Audible. There is the comics, the graphic novels. It is great. So what they're going to do is mine that, and I'm going to spoil something right now. So in Dark Empire, the reason the Emperor came back is because he's a clone, which makes sense because of the clone. And they did everything right. They brought Boba Fett back right. They dealt with Luke's journey, like his almost journey to the dark side.
Yeah, it was so good.
It is so good. And a lot of it is Luke just sitting there working things out. You know, there is Luke action, but you also see the true power of Luke Skywalker in that comic. It's fucking brilliant. With this one, I'm confused about the title. I mean, the title sounds like there needs to be another word in there, or but actually, it was Evie. Was it EVS? Somebody made a point that maybe they're changing the title of Jedi to Skywalker to "You Are a Skywalker" now, that is bad. If that's the case, that is cringe-tastic.
I'll be honest with you. What everyone was speculating it was going to be Will of the Force, which sounds way better of a title, even though it comes out as "What the fuck" or WTF when it's.
Oh my god! If they did that and they had STD, and I could have titled this video "WTF versus STD," which is better?
Yeah,
or which is worse? Remember when we used to debate what is better, Star Trek versus Star Wars, and now it's what is worse? And that's a pretty good debate. I think it's honestly a closer debate than what is better. Yeah, I don't know. We'll get to the chat here on this too, because I'm really curious to see what you guys thought. I mean, at the very best, it was just a boring, nothing trailer. And goddamn, I saw the sand barge in there, and they're on another damn desert planet, and it's just like they're probably gonna redo Return of the Jedi. And
why wouldn't they at this point?
I mean, I just don't know how many times I got to tell people. I mean, a good share of you people here know this because you're smart. J.J. Abrams has no talent. He is a bullshit snake oil salesman who can put his own brand of shine on somebody else's idea and call it his. And he's really good at selling things. I mean, like, people trip over themselves in Hollywood to give this guy money. He was working for Paramount, under contract for Paramount, to do Star Trek, and took off to do Star Wars while he still had offices at Paramount. And they let him get away with this because they think he makes money initially. But I'm starting to think Hollywood doesn't give a shit about longevity at all.
No, that's pretty apparent.
Yeah. So, okay. They used to care about that stuff, and they don't now. Oh, well. Yeah, I thought it at the end when Luke with the voiceover, and he's talking about, we're never really gone, we're always there with you. I got a big time Harry Potter at the end when he's about to go take on Voldy. And his mom was there and his dad was there with the resurrection stone. And I'm sure, and then, Doomcock brought up that if she is the culmination of generations of Jedi into one human being, then that is ripping off Avatar: The Last Airbender. And yeah, it's I'm sure you can think of many things they're ripping off in this. Yeah, I'm surprised they're not using time travel.
The thing that pisses me off about this is it was never really meant to be about one Jedi, that's the thing that really annoys me, because even Luke reestablished the Jedi Academy and started raising, a new generation of Jedi. And I hate the way things was taken, like, oh, we got to bring balance to the Force, so there's only 2 and 2, and that's what that's kind of damage that came from Lucas that I kind of feel like Disney has perpetuated. And the other thing too, and again, this is coming from a fan, and this is not canon. Part of the issue what I've had with the way Star Wars has progressed, even from the prequels, is that I had a certain expectation that I came up with on my own. This is the reason why it's bad to go back and do prequels, because they will never live up to the expectations you create. But I've always thought that there was still Jedi around. It wasn't just Yoda and Obi-Wan. That there were others out there that were still in hiding. And it wasn't until like probably the fall of the Empire where they start coming back out, because they were scared shitless of Darth Vader, because he was, the most powerful Sith / Jedi during that time period. And I mean, even the Dark Horse comic stuff was really good, kind of addressing him and why he's such a badass, and the fact that the Emperor, when he made his suit, made it in such a way where it would really hamper his ability, which is the reason why he could never take on Sidious.
And I love everything about that. And even when it hampered his ability to take on Sidious, he could still wipe the floor with any Jedi.
Exactly.
And that's the best part about the story, is that it's, basically Jesus Christ goes bad. So, and they fucked it up so bad. But Lucas did too. And, the one time I met him, I was one of my friends was nice enough to get me into Skywalker Ranch. Funny story. I'm going on a Skywalker Ranch, and they're about to let me in, and I was on a no-go list. Like, this is way prior to YouTube. I had owned the comic store for like a minute. And I might have put out one tweet saying the Clone Wars sucked or something like that. There's no way I should have been even known by them, much less on a block list. But yeah, wow. I got stopped at the door and I was blocked, and then they had to go plead. And I'm like, listen, I'll just go home. It's cool. It's no big deal, dude, whatever. But they got me in, and he was there with Rick McCallum, and they were working on Revenge of the Sith. And oh my God, the vibe in there. Nobody was happy. Like, there wasn't this, like, I don't know, maybe maybe it was never like this. And this is, again, expectations in our head. Maybe it wasn't all fun and games at Star Wars ever. But
I think what kept Lucas in line was Gary Kurtz. That's ultimately the reason why Star Wars turned out good, is because of Kurtz. And they parted ways right before Return of the Jedi, which was initially called Revenge of the Jedi. And that's the reason why we got the ending that we did. Because originally Han was supposed to die. You know, it was supposed to be the ultimate sacrifice. We were supposed to get another bittersweet ending, much like Empire, where Leia has to go and, you know, go back to her people, put back the government back together, and then, you know, Lucas is kind of left to his own device. And Lucas was like, you know, I can't sell dead Han Solo action figures. So that was like a big driving thing. And part of me, this is like my conspiracy theory, is that I think over time, Star Wars kind of ruined George Lucas. And I think he intentionally sabotaged the prequels, in my opinion. You know, I could totally see it. That, you know, it's this thing that haunted his life and he could never live up to it, in my opinion.
No. Speaking of that, we'll get to the super chats in just a second. Speaking of that expectation, the expectation that all of us at our age had of just the battle of Mustafar, just you know, between Ben Kenobi and Anakin, that there's no way Lucas could have done what a generation of kids had in their head for that battle. That being said, Obi-Wan had the higher ground.
I have the high ground.
It's like, but I can jump really high because I'm a Jedi. It doesn't really fucking matter.
No.
Okay, so let's get back to the super chats. Silhouetted animator for $5. I wouldn't be surprised if L337 is repaired somehow and speaks through the Millennial Falcon. And yes, the Millennial Falcon in episode 9. You can count on it. You can effing count on it. And what makes us all think that is Lando is wearing the same getup that he wore in Solo.
I thought that looked familiar.
Yeah, or somewhat the same getup. Thank you, Silhouetted Animator, for $5. I agree with that 100%. North American Vikinger, $5. Star Wars Rise Skywalker prediction: Palpatine, Force Ghost in the Death Star debris, echoing laughter haunting in the halls, ghost on ghost violence. Oh, G on G violence. Yeah, you know what? It took me, I didn't realize what the first viewing of the trailer, I had no idea what they were looking at. And then it took me a couple more times. I'm like, oh, it's a piece of the Death Star.
No, yeah. I figured it out pretty quick.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, man.
Which one?
Which one?
There's 3 technically.
What the hell is he doing still around? And then, like, this is the point I'm at with Star Trek Discovery. I mean, I start asking questions and I'm like, I don't care. I just don't. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just, you know, I clown Star Trek Discovery because it's fun at this point. It's a pastime for me. George Malo for $24.99. Thank you so much. First time chatting on Nerdrotic. Love your show. Hate the new trailer. So sick of the Matrix, Mary Sue. Yes, I am so sick of it. And I want to know how you feel about this Comix Division. So The Force Awakens, I did not like. The reason I don't like The Force Awakens is completely different than the reason I don't like The Last Jedi, because it emasculates Luke and it really dials up the agenda. There is agenda in Force Awakens with the not holding my hand stupid shit. But the main problem I had with that stupid movie is that nothing is earned. It feels like a 2-hour trailer. Like it feels like every episode of Star Trek Discovery. It feels like I missed a couple of scenes leading up to each scene. Like it's the climax of a scene every time. And I'm like, what led up to this? And I mean, she's like, and you know, she automatically knows everything and she's great. Well, what's the point of this crap? And this is Twilight ruined everything. And you know, oh God, was it Calvin and Hobbes that Orlando Bloom ruined everything? I think it was. I think that was Calvin and Hobbes. I can't remember. Somebody needs to write a book of Twilight Zone, or Twilight ruined everything. It ruined Comicon. It ruined storytelling because it made it okay to have this bad form of storytelling. And I unfortunately have watched all the Twilight movies because Mrs. Nerdrotic liked them.
I'm so fortunate that my wife is not into that crap.
You know, she watches every superhero movie with me. I gotta be a good husband. And you know what? It was educational, and that was the first time. I'm sure it'd been around, but it was the first time like fan fiction, made money, and Belle, whatever her name was just totally. I'm like, why does anybody like her at all? And that's the same. Ray is not as bad as Michael Burnham, and I said it in my video. She's definitely not. Michael Burnham is awful. Ray is just bland, like nothing. And it's
that's like the problem with a lot of the female protagonists lately coming out of Star Wars is that they're blocks of wood, because that's the problem with Jyn Erso, right? She has no freaking personality. You have no reason to like her. There's nothing really interesting about the character, and that's my biggest complaint about Rogue One. Is the only character I gave a shit about was the droid.
Yeah, Alan Tudyk, who was great. Yeah, and she can also punch out stormtroopers.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Well, that's the thing that's starting to bug me. I'm just, it's in everything now, though. I mean, it's in absolutely everything. And
I'm gonna rip on Orville a little bit, because that was one of the things I kind of noticed with the last episode. And I'm not gonna say I hate it, because I don't. I do like the episode, but there's certain things that I felt they could have done better. And when you only have like two people going up against hardened soldiers, I kind of think you should have been getting your ass kicked. And it's like, I know that Kelly's a badass, that she can hold her own, but there's going to be a point in time where you just get overwhelmed. And I think with her and Bortus, even with the other females that were there picking up guns, it should have been going down like the Alamo.
And I guess they were all on stun. So I guess
I figured it probably was. There was no reason to have them set for kill, because they're trying to, detain them and take them back and have the corrective surgery and whatnot. So
at least it was to 9 to 5 and not just a girl.
The whole Dolly Parton thing was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny.
That was good.
But
there
right.
are certain things in there I felt.
I thought the Orville did the agenda thing pretty well, but like honestly, the whole whamming thing has been. It feels like everything I watch, it's been dialed up the last month or so. I mean, beyond what it's been at, and I think we've reached peak whamming right now. I mean, I'm sure we haven't, but I've reached mine. It's getting ridiculous. It's getting okay. It's like okay. For one. And I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't give a shit what people think. When did women want to become men? It's like, it's fine to want to go and scrap and everything. It's like, okay, all right. And we can, this is all make believe. So if they want to scrap, that's fine. But they did it in Star Trek Discovery. They do it consistently. They always send, like they said, Captain Georgiou and Michael Burnham, who their combined height is 10 feet, maybe 11 feet, and their combined weight is 220 pounds, and they beat 400-pound Klingons. I'm guessing the Klingons with that much makeup, 400 pounds at least, right? They're all like 6'4", 6'5", 300, 400 pounds.
I don't know, but it's getting to the point where it's like I'm starting to see. I'm trying to remember what it was called. There was a trailer for this movie, and I'm getting to the point where I'm just getting sick of seeing it. It's like, there's no way realistically that a chick can do this to this many guys, as far as like,
there's no way a little guy could. I mean, like, listen,
there's that too. There's
to the men and women in our chat who have been in a fight. Have you ever been hit by somebody who's like 50 pounds, who weighs 50 pounds more than you do? It's like being hit by a freaking freight train.
Thank you. Anna is the name of the movie. Thank you, Mark.
And Anna. Yeah. I was watching the trailer for that. I'm like, no.
There's a point, even with dudes, the believability goes out the window and it stops being
disbelief.
Cool.
Yeah. And listen, there was a time when the badass female was cool, like when Tank Girl was around, and
way overdone.
Fifth Element, and now it's like, whoa. So I can't wait to see the parody videos from our times right now in about 10 years. When whatever this decade is called, the 20 teens or whatever the hell it's called, and it'll be like a 5-minute video of 5 women of color who all know science, and they eat ice cream together, and they all battle Nazis that are 500 pounds each and defeat them easily with science, and then eat ice cream. something like that. I'm looking forward to those.
The age we're living in is the soy age.
It certainly is. God, I saw a commercial of are we still doing the man? But we're not doing man buns anymore. But I saw a guy with a ponytail in some commercial. Yeah, it's getting in commercials, like just beyond Gillette. Like we have, SJW commercials now. It's like, come on, please stop. It'll end someday. Comics.
Yeah, with humanity.
Oh yeah, Smod, the sweet meteor of death will come down and equalize us all. You want equality, you got it. Or the electromagnetic pulse, whatever comes first.
Jeez, I don't know, man. All this stuff, I think it's going to get worse, in my opinion. I don't know. I've heard theories that this, the SJW stuff, it goes in cycles. And it should only last for 5 years, and maybe we have like another year or two left of it. But you're getting like things are just getting really bloody insane now. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Dave Cullen that did this video talking about the whole thing with the boys rating girls' looks. Those lists that you did in middle school. I mean, it's like holy shit. It's like I remember that was a thing in I want to say like middle school, high school, maybe it was more middle school. And now it's getting to the point where stuff like that is considered
hate,
harassment. It's ridiculous.
Well, no, we'll just stop
like
multiplying and that'll end it right there.
And that's the thing. It's like that's basically what feminists want. They don't want not all feminists, again, just to clarify, certain kinds.
Intersectional.
The intersectional ones, they don't want men talking to women.
Okay.
That's what it comes down to. It's just
I'm so glad I'm married.
I am too.
That would be terrible.
If I was single, I can understand why guys don't want to date women. I can understand why MGTOW exists. As stupid as it is, I can understand it.
Jack Random, $5. I say make Rey Palpatine's granddaughter. He influences her to go dark. Luke haunts Kylo. Kylo rises would be awesome, but nah, that probably would. If they made Rey go dark, that would interest me. I'm not saying I'd be a Star Wars fan.
That was one thing I've always speculated on, since the beginning. Is it going to be the redemption of Kylo and the fall of Rey?
But no. And unless they make another 2 movies, what did they announce today? That like this is it for Star Wars movies for a while?
Yeah,
that's an interesting decision.
It's a smart move, actually.
It is, but
there's still plenty of the Roundhead Johnson trilogy. I mean, there's another article on Hollywood Reporter talking about it. It's Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy on planning next 10 years of Star Wars films, and it's just like it's not over, folks. This is still going to go on, even though they're quote unquote taking a break, which means that we're not going to get a movie for maybe a year or two, but it's going to happen.
Oh, it definitely is. They have a whole. That's why them dedicating the park to that was over Marvel. It's just a bad move.
Yeah,
it's just a bad
this cash cow hasn't been milked dry yet.
Oh, it will be though.
It will be just like Marvel.
I mean, it'll always be around. Star Wars will always be around in some way. It just won't be the big Mac Daddy anymore that it was. Like Star Trek. Star Trek's going to be around forever, but Star Trek right now the fandom is a shadow of what it used to be. I mean, they used to have multiple Star Trek conventions, and now they have, they've got that one. And I'm probably going to end up going. It's freaking expensive, dude. The one in Vegas, it's like $1,000 or something like that to go. I'm like, what?
Okay, this is funny. Reboot with an all-female cast. Okay, I made a joke about this. I did a video I want to say it was December, about the whole thing where you're gonna get like a trans Solo, princess wokeness, and gay Skywalker. It's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the intersectional bunch.
Yeah. I always want to say intersectional Jedis. Yeah, go ahead. At this point, it's funny. I mean, it's getting laughable. It's becoming a parody. I don't think it means to, but it is. So, Jack Random, $2. Welcome back home. Thank you very much. I don't want to bore you guys too much with Italy stuff. I talked about it in my other live stream. Italy was awesome. I stayed there a couple extra days that I really didn't want to because our plane got canceled. Had a super long flight. I haven't slept. I mean, I've only been back 2 days. And I'm not entirely with it, obviously. But I'm trying to get back in the groove. The channel didn't crash and burn while I was gone, so I was very happy about that. I mean, it definitely took a hit, but
I think everybody's just taking hits, not just yours, man. I like my Shazam review barely got 100 views. I'm really surprised about that.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is. It's really weird. The normal commenters and people who say stuff, yeah, it's like nobody's freaking seen it.
Here is this is why this is very foreboding, because Shazam is a good film, by the way. I liked it a lot. And when Endgame is done, that's your future of superhero films for everything. We're not getting $1 billion. I mean, the fact that, god dang, that by the way, watch my last Captain Marvel video, because Brie Larson talks about, and go watch the interview that I'm talking about, because she speaks as if she had something to do with Captain Marvel making $1 billion.
No,
like she actually had something to do with it, and I'm like, oh my god, she is. I think. Listen, she's a typical crazy actress. Yeah, I mean, but she's not. It's not unique to her at all. We're just, I think
most people hide it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I've seen interviews.
Chris Evans is the same way. He is. And I actually, it was just because I was out of town, or I would have done a video on him.
I know he's doing stuff recently, but it's like the way she talks with that one interview where she's answering like the web's most asked questions about her. And she just comes off as this entitled elitist.
Oh yeah. Anna, that Star Wars girl, did a great video on that, where she shows hers and then Elizabeth Olsen's, and they're just night and day.
Yeah.
Like one looks like a nice person and one looks like
a heinous bitch.
I don't want to say, yeah, she's just there's something going on. I watched Unicorn Store, and there's a scene in that movie where she breaks down her dad's playhouse, like this really nice playhouse that her dad, and she destroys it with her new friend and doesn't apologize at all in the movie. And yeah, she's got some major issues, because the whole Unicorn Store, the whole thing about is I don't need to listen to men, but then she still needed a man's approval and a man to give her something, which was the unicorn. And then she gives the unicorn away. It's such a vanity project. It's see, I didn't realize that it had come out in 2017, I guess, in limited release, and I don't think anybody realized that, to be honest with you. And then Netflix re-released it. Scarneck won $5. Ray Trix jump sucks. Hashtag Ray Trix jump sucks. Big fan, Nerdrotic. Keep up the videos, please. I will. I will. I'm going to make very good use of my time this weekend. I've got 5 planned. I'm going to go back to I'm going to do a short Orville breakdown. I owe Star Trek Discovery another breakdown. So those are a ton of work, but I'm going to do it. Because I need to rip the shit out of that show from last week. Fracking last week, man. I mean,
how bad was it?
Oh man, nothing is sacred to these people. So Captain Pike, they show Captain Pike's fate. We all know his fate, but they show him his fate. And I want you, if you guys pay attention to this stuff in Star Trek Discovery, anytime there is something surprising happens, or there's an explosion, or somebody gets injured, all the women handle it like, oh, I've got a flesh wound, kind of like 80s action heroes. All the men are crying, upset, scared. Pike screams like he has his hand in his mouth. He's oh,
Men
like
are
that. I'm
women
like,
and women
whoa,
are men.
whoa. I mean, you'd be upset, but Captain Pike and Captain Kirk and any other and yeah, Captain Janeway, if they would have seen their fate, you know what the first thing that they would have, that guy's like, your fate is sealed. So apparently, if you take the time crystal, if you see your fate and you take the time crystal, your fate is sealed. Well, I would say bullshit, or I'm going to try every waking moment to not seal my fate. Pike's all, oh, okay. We are Starfleet. We are love. I'm just going to walk to my death and not tell anybody about it. You know, I'm like, one of my best friends is Spock, one of the most brilliant minds in Starfleet. Well, next to Michael Burnham, of course.
Oh,
Hey, he knows Michael
oh,
Burnham.
you.
Why not just ask her and she can just snap her fingers and it'll happen. She'll invent a time suit and, you know, Deus Ex Machina Mary Sue up your ass. Yeah. So, Vexcon, did I say that right? I'm sorry if I didn't. $5. Much as I love the Dark Empire story, people spent years whining about the EU doing this, and now it seems JJ's going to be doing the same thing. Yeah, I mean, Vexcom, you're right. There was a fair share of whining in the EU, and that's why I've never really super paid attention to it. I just looked at the
EU.
Yeah. I mean, with the comic book, on the comic book side, for sure.
You're talking about like fans whining about stuff?
Yeah, fans. Well, because they're fans. Yeah.
Well, of course, man. Fans whining about everything.
Yeah. So
that's what we're doing, technically.
I'll be honest with you. I never considered anything outside of the movies canon. That's just me. And I'm pretty sure that's Lucas could say canon, but in my personal head canon, if it wasn't in a movie, it didn't exist.
There
and everything else was fun.
Things outside the movies that were canon, and I don't remember because they did this explanation a while back where it's like there's levels to canon, and I always liked the EU stuff. And from someone again who has played the Star Wars, role playing game, it was great material. I really enjoyed it, and you got a lot of good stories. And it sucks that all that stuff is getting thrown out the window. Because like I said, technically Twi'lek is not canon because it came from Western Games, but it's, I guess, actually being used.
The whole, Solo Twins saga thing, which I only know from people coming in the comic store.
And Zahn novels were considered to be canon.
The only way I know the story is people coming in and just telling me in the comic store. I didn't read any of the books. It sounded great. I'm like, man, that sounds awesome. And maybe it was just the way my friends were telling me the story, but I'm like, that sounds cool. They should just adapt that. But again, JJ, just the thing is, what JJ's biggest flaw is he's bullshitted himself. He's really good, like I said, at selling products. Like in another life, he would have been in a horse and buggy selling snake oil. That's JJ. He's really good at that shit, and he's got his tentacles everywhere in Hollywood, and everything he touches starts out really good. And there's some things that like Fringe. I liked Fringe. I thought it was cool. I liked the first couple seasons of Alias. It was
I did fun. I did too. It got repetitive after a while, though. It got honestly, very predictable.
His movies, even the ones that people think are good, are super generic. Like Mission Impossible 3 is just like a generic action movie, which I mean, it's not bad. Was it 3 or 4? He did 3 or 4. Honestly, Mission Impossible movies are, again, like white pieces of paper to me. That's like, I watch them, they're okay, and I forget about them. The King of Scotland, $5. If they were smart, Rey would be a clone of Leia's daughter who died when she was 3 years old that we haven't learned of yet. If they were smart, King of Scotland, that's the key first 4 words there. And all hail
that's
the
a
king.
Big F, man. That's a big F.
God bless you, King of Scotland. It's good to see you back. The Grand Inquisitor is here. Did you just assume my force abilities? I did. I am so sorry, Grand Inquisitor.
Never apologize.
I know, never apologize. That's right. I'm sorry for apologizing.
Damn it, you apologized.
I did it again. Cody Johnson for 99 cents. Hey, put in a question. I wonder, I don't think you can ask a question for under $1. I mean, then why put $1 in there, YouTube? I think for 99 cents, you should be able to ask a question. Let's get back to the chat here. Mission input, James Labar. And that's the other thing that, I mean, I would have dedicated a YouTube channel to how much I hate the first Mission Impossible movie because they made Mr. Phelps the bad guy.
Yeah.
In canon. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? Yeah. So that's like making James Kirk, join Section 31 and Picard's joining Section 31. Do you fucking believe that shit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Super 8, super dumb poser. Yeah, Super 8 was.
I didn't see it. I'm trying to think of what movies I've actually seen by him besides like the Star Trek movies and obviously the Star Wars movie.
Honestly, I'd say his best movie is the Star Trek 2009 movie. It probably is. I'm trying to think of another movie.
I didn't hate it, but again, it's Trek for non-Trek people.
He didn't direct Cloverfield, right? He was just a producer of that. I liked Cloverfield for a found footage movie. It was all right.
I like the other one. Was it Cloverfield Lane or something like that? That with John Goodman. That was actually really good.
The spiritual sequel.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. How much longer before people boycott the internet and then go make another one? If they allow it. Here's the deal with the internet and censorship. Dave Cullen did a great video today, by the way. Is this a thing? I love it. By the way, Dave, if you're out there, I apologize. I meant to contact you on Gab. I went to Italy. I'm coming back. He said he would come on. I'm going to get him on. Maybe you can be on too. I want to get him on a Friday Night Tights.
That would be awesome.
So I definitely want to get him on and pick his brain on stuff. So he did a great video today. And talking about Gab being shut down again. And here's the only way we can fight them. We need to fully support the internet becoming utility. We need that to happen immediately. Because if they do that, they're regulated and they cannot shut us down for speech.
I don't know, man. It's like one of the
only way. If they're a private company, then they can shut us down all day long.
You're talking about like
legally.
Well, that's the thing is that the internet is because of how it was built and structured, and not one single person owns the internet, and that's kind of the thing. As much as I agree, like the idea of internet access being utility, when it comes down to like Facebook and regulation. Facebook wants to be regulated, and that's not a good thing if they want to be regulated.
Yeah. Well, because it's cheaper for them. The thing is, if they are regulated and they become, well, no, Facebook wouldn't become a utility, but like maybe Google, probably not. I mean, the chances are 99% that this won't happen. But if it becomes a utility, then at least here in the States, it falls under, then we have certain rights.
I think what Davis said, and I completely agree with this, is he's not the first person to mention this. What we need is an internet bill of rights. We don't need to be regulated. We need a bill of rights. That way these companies can abide by it. Much like
I agree with that.
Same thing with the Constitution. Great. That makes the most sense because once you start getting into regulation, it starts turning into a weird monopoly. I mean, it's just like the whole thing what happened with the phone industry with the bells.
Well, it already is. I mean, it already is in a weird way. And the thing is, what Dave Cullen pointed out is beyond monopoly, there's something way more sinister happening. We have giant competing corporations colluding with each other.
Yes.
Colluding to shut us down. That is a real big fucking problem.
Oh, no, it is. I completely agree.
That's where we all need to maybe start. I mean, this will be impossible, but why not talk about it anyway? We have time to fill. That's where we all in the chat and all YouTubers and everybody on, for free speech, we need to like find a way to get together to get some form of protest going that they would feel.
Well, and that's maybe where the deep web comes in.
Maybe.
And it's funny because a friend of mine, he mentioned something about it's like we need. He predicted this kind of a while back like early 2000s saying we're probably going to need to build another internet. Internet 2.0 is what he called it, because of what was happening, I guess, in like the early 2010s, probably. Or was it?
That's an impossibility, though. I mean, like, structurally, they would have to build one on top of the actual physical structures that are out there that are owned by companies and governments and stuff.
Well, I think that's where the deep web stuff kind of comes in, because I think you could reuse all of the existing infrastructure, but it's like you, in order to access the deep web, you would have to essentially, use the Tor browser or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Me neither. But it's worth talking about. It's definitely worth talking about and continuing to talk about, because I sense bad times down the road when they shut us down for this petty shit. And I don't think I don't think it's said enough. I don't know. It doesn't seem like to me. I know a lot of us are talking about it here, but so many people are okay with YouTube changing its algorithm to protect Brie Larson. Now,
I'd have a major issue with that. That's bullshit.
Who gives a crap about Brie Larson? If it was protecting Chris Evans or anybody else, I'd feel the same way. No, it just happened to be Brie Larson and Disney. And again, this is a company, YouTube is a company in competition with Disney, in direct competition now that Disney's going to bundle services and go right up against YouTube TV. Well, how do you feel about changing your algorithm now, YouTube? And you know what? I would tell YouTube to just give up on the YouTube TV stuff. I mean, it's nice that we get a piece of the pie, because we do. If you sign up for whatever the premium service is, they give us a micro cent out of that. And they should just focus on content creators, because this is where YouTube could kill everybody. Because I think there's way more happening here. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about D+, good old D+, Disney Plus, which is a dumb name. Real quick, Jeff Pfeifer, $5. Ray should explode in a ball of fire. She should just explode into tiny smoky bits. I would watch that in slow-mo, in like that super slow-mo that's like your app on your phone. That would be brilliant, and I would just loop it.
I don't care enough.
Boomerang thing, just the boomerang thing of her blowing up. That'd be great. I'm definitely not done talking about Star Wars. We just got into this. Nick Pruitt. By the way, thank you, Jeff, for $5. Nick Pruitt, $10 super chat. It would be more regulated with our current government. Not sure if that is a good idea. Yeah, I'm not sure it is either, to be honest with you.
Well, that's the problem when you start kind of regulating it's about, you got to think about the future and who is going to be pulling the strings later on. So
you got to make sure
now, we have Trump, but what happens after Trump,
Yeah.
That's the thing you got to be concerned with. What happens if we get, God forbid, what happens if we get a SJW president at some point in the next 30 years?
So, well, I mean, I don't get political here, but the former district attorney of San Francisco, Major SJW, she's running for president.
Yes.
So, and she, by the way, she did effing nothing, like zero. She was a DA for 4 years here. Like, she has just been promoted and promoted and promoted up, and yeah, she's done zero, no accomplishments. Okay, back to this.
Fail forward.
It's like Hollywood. It's like Hollywood.
It's like most companies.
With the whole the last thing on this before we get back to Star Wars is, regulation sucks. I'm not for it at all. I think self-policing, unless it's a monopoly. So here in California, the reason Arnold Schwarzenegger became governor is because there was a guy named Gray Davis who deregulated the power industry in California. And our power bills my personal power bill went from $30 a month to $300. They added a zero. Businesses went out of business overnight. San Diego lost 50 rolling brownouts, 50 restaurants gone in 1 week in San Diego. This was in the late 90s. And the Terminator became governor, and I proudly voted for him twice, because I'm not going to not vote for Arnold. Okay. He kind of sucked at the end, but I mean, at least he tried. The thing is, he tried to take on both parties. He tried to be actual man of the people. And you want to see the Democrats and Republicans unite on something?
Yeah.
That's what they united on, and they crushed his poor ass, which is too bad.
Oh, Ty Timmons, that's great. So Jeremy's in MAGA country tonight.
Yes. I wish I was those guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be stepping on their celebration here, but yeah, I wish I was there. I do. I was watching some of the live stream, and I felt the worst thing is my kid feels bad. Like he was trying to fake it, like he was cool, like he was all right, because he didn't want me to cancel my trip. So, and then he felt super guilty. And I don't know how I raised such a nice, sweet kid, because I'm not, and neither is Mrs. Nerdrotic, to be honest with you.
I blame good parenting is what I do.
Thanks. Maybe the kids just turn out opposite, but he's like a really good person, and he felt terrible. So I'm like, I spent the whole day like, it's all good. Don't worry. And it all worked out. But I wish I could have gone, man. I don't know if there's going to be another opportunity to meet that many YouTubers in one place. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe next year, or maybe we can all meet at a con or a New York con or something like that. I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con, but nobody can get into that, which that's another reason why it sucks, is you can't like get a group of friends to go anymore. It's not really, like that's why Coachella was always fun for me. The bands usually sucked, but I had a good group of friends and we just kind of hung out and watched little bands. And that's what it used to be at con.
If I get a little bit forewarning, I could definitely plan a trip with you guys. I just need a little heads up.
Yeah. I think we should get the con that was in New York. Find like a mid-level con that everybody can make, that's kind of in a central location, like probably central, right in the middle of the United States, that everybody can go to, and try it again. I think we should definitely try it again.
Well, there's Alamo City Comic-Con coming up again this year.
In October, right?
Probably. I don't think they've announced the date yet.
Thanks again, Nick Pruitt, for the $10 super chat. And I agree with you. I'm just throwing it out there, but no, government regulation at this point, even with one that's not so regulatory at the moment, would still be bad, probably. So Justin Doyle for 20 pounds. Thank you, my friend. Hey, Gary, as a pale, skinny geek, I never felt like I had any power over anyone when I was younger. Never mind women. So to call us toxic feels like a double slap in the face. Any sign of this abuse ending anytime soon? What a great point. What a great point. That is, Justin, so beautifully said. When we were younger geeks, the only reason I stopped getting picked on was because I turned into a nasty punk rocker and I just started to like to fight. I didn't win any, but I mean, like I fought a lot and I didn't mind it. But I mean, I used to get picked on pretty horribly when I was a kid. I mean, just, well, not, as much as the next nerd got. And yeah, I mean, I'm not joking when I said I got my ass beat for wearing a Star Wars shirt one time. That was it. I was wearing a Star Wars shirt and they called me a space cadet and beat the shit out of me. And that, listen, I'm not a victim. It made me stronger, but like we didn't have any power over anything. So to call, and that's what Doctor Who and Star Trek particular are shitting all over the past and saying that the past is problematic. That's why they're doing so many prequels, so they can retroactively fix the problematic past canon, because it's sexist, obia, whatever. I know, but that's what's going. That's what Star Trek Discovery is. That is the whole point of the prequel, was to insert a woman of color and make her the focal point prior to Kirk. So she basically becomes the brand. They actually thought, Kurtzman and Brian Fuller and everybody at CBS actually thought they could create a character that would be more popular than James T. Kirk, not understanding at all how this shit works in fandom at all.
Yeah. Well,
you don't go. It's like trying to create a viral video.
Yeah. You just don't.
It does not happen.
Yeah, it just happens. Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, I've mentioned this before. Star Trek should always be about going forward. And that's kind of my take with anything, really. You should always be going forward. And I mean, they even had a joke about it in the song, always going forward because we can't find reverse. That's the way it should be. So it should not have been a prequel. It should have been set like another 100 or 200 years after Next Generation. And
yeah. And the thing is, like, politics have always been done lightly and everything. But as I've said a million times, I'll say 1,000 more, is right now the current brand we're getting is by a bunch of people who think they're right about absolutely everything. They think they're the white hats, and they think that the other side politically are the black hats, and they're evil and they're bad about, and everything about them is wrong, and they're just hate and they shouldn't exist. And that is no more apparent than in the Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone is probably one of the worst cases of SJW woke that I've seen. Like, worse than Marvel Comics, worse than Star Trek Discovery, worse than fucking Doctor Who. It is that bad. Fuck. I hope that show crashes and burns.
I hope so as well. What's going to stop it is it's the normies waking up to what's going on and basically having an outcry for, we don't want identity politics. That's what's going to take to end all this stuff.
You are 100% right, my friend. And they will, and it's going to be probably another year. Somebody asked earlier, I think it's another year. The way these things go, you're right. It's like 5 years. It's weird. As a student of trends, you get 5-year cycles within 20-year cycles, if that makes any sense. There's a 20-year rule, and then there's 5 years. And it's really interesting if you look back since the advent of pop culture, which we'll say in the 50s, that trends turn on the decade. It's pretty, within 12 months of the change of the decade, we get a paradigm shift. It's weird how that happens. Like, it's almost like it's planned or engineered. Which it might be. I don't know. Thoughts on PewDiePie promoting D Live by Ian Moon, $2. I am going to check it out. I am going to start an account. I was talking to Josiah Rises about that. He has an account, and I will support anything PewDiePie supports. I kind of like him. I didn't know much about him, honestly, until this whole T-Series thing started up. I mean, I knew he was there, and I knew my kid watched his videos before, but I actually think he's pretty funny. I think his humor is a lot smarter than maybe some of the, whatever I guess there was some kind of there was a negative stereotype that he was just the 9-year-old army and stuff. It's like, actually, I find his humor to be kind of smart in some ways. So yeah, I would definitely, I'm good. It's another, it's a live streaming platform that's, it's run differently apparently. So I'll try it. The one thing I learned with the copyright strike Comix Division is I'm going to be everywhere. I'm just going to be I'll mirror everything, because I don't know how long this will last.
Set up yet?
Not yet, but I will
do it.
I still have to do BitChute, DLive, and Twitch. I'm going to be doing a Twitch live stream sometime this weekend.
Well, once you start using OBS, you can stream to one, which will broadcast to like everything.
Yeah, I got my
Restream, I think is what it's called.
Yep. Oh, we're getting a nice fancy camera, because like the camera I use is a $100 Logitech. And yeah, the most expensive thing is just the microphone, which I've already dropped and had to get a new one. Thank you, Ian Moore. That's a great question. It's good to bring that up. It really is. The Grand Inquisitor, again, for $5. The government doesn't even uphold the 2A. I don't trust them to protect our rights on the web. Plus, the corporations will just buy the politicians. I can't argue with anything.
Nope. That can't.
Unfortunately, I mean, you might hear a couple of that is so negative, but that's just
true,
reality,
man. It's fucking true.
Reality. That's why he's the Grand Inquisitor. He speaketh the truth and asks the right questions. You better tell the truth. Daxamite, $1.99. Go to NYC Comicon, Gary. It's not bad. I will. That is my hope. After I go to my final San Diego Comic-Con this year, because it's just not that fun anymore. And I'm going to start going to New York. 'Cause I
Well,
heard it's cool.
Mark Wade might show up and start looking for you, wanting to have a conversation with you.
Oh, is he going to get tough with me?
He's gonna get tough with you.
I love that. Yeah. Was he really going to have a conversation with Zach? Didn't Zach go to like kill people in a war? Didn't he shoot people? Dead?
I'm pretty sure he was in the Marines at one point.
He was in the
Just
Marines.
saying.
I mean, I don't know what his kill count is, and he hasn't talked about it and probably won't, but I'll just say that little noodle arm Mark Wade against a Marine. I'll take the Marine, male or female, every time.
Yep.
Sean John 316 Canadian $5. Gary, the more I see the transgressions of Disney monopoly, you think that the big part of getting Star Wars was killing a future competitor? Homogeneity. I can't. Homogeny. I can't read.
It's okay.
Yeah, homogeny. Yes, that's what we are getting. Okay, so seriously, because sorry, I can't read. Disney originally bought Star Wars and Marvel to get more boys into the brand because not enough boys were into the brand. It was looked at as a girls' brand as far as merchandise. I know some people take issue with that. What? I go to Disneyland and I'm not a girl. It's like, no, it's not.
No, like the Disney princesses and what.
Yeah, it's the merchandise.
Yeah.
So, it's just proof that you can't buy your way into anything. You cannot buy your way into a franchise. When we all look back on this, we're going to go, wow, Marvel took a turn for the worse when Disney bought them, but that was the best part of the MCU. Well, they didn't start the MCU. And as much crap as Kevin Feige, to a lot of people looks, he was kind of like the golden boy, could do no wrong, but kind of look what he did to Perlmutter. And, Perlmutter, by all accounts, is a curmudgeon, is a cheap curmudgeon who ran Marvel Comics, but he does not like getting his picture taken. He's like the weirdest guy to own a comic store or a comic company. But he started the MCU and he started getting cheap, and that pissed off Feige. So Feige won a fight with a board member of Disney, which is a big deal. A producer beat a board member. But honestly, that's when things started going down. I want you to look at the quality from phase 2 and on, and seriously look at like when time passes, like how many great movies did we get in phase 2? Well, it's like 4, maybe 3. They're all really good. They're really good. Nothing is a piece of shit, that's for sure. Right. But I would say the most solid trilogy is Captain America. A lot of people shit on the first Avenger. I like it.
I like it. That movie made me like Captain America.
Yeah.
I was never a Captain America fan. I always felt that he was a bit antiquated. I'm not like super, rah America. And that's the way I always kind of viewed his character. And then watching that movie is like, wow, this character is actually pretty cool.
I've always loved Cap. So
you're a sellout.
I am. But what's funny is Cap was the hardest. I know. Cap was the hardest thing to sell in San Francisco. Say people in San Francisco did not like Captain America, and they would tell. Well, San Francisco, so that San Francisco to tell you about it. They, even if you didn't ask them, they would love to tell you about it. It's like, okay, dude, I get it, whatever. But the MCU had that great start from Paramount and from desperation. They had just gotten out of bankruptcy. And they, saw the success with Spider-Man, wanted to go out and do it on their own to make their own money. Mm-hmm. And hey, it really worked for them. It saved their ass, and they got bought by Disney. But it slowly has been, we lose Joss Whedon. And the thing is, it's getting homogenized because they're not going to get really good directors. All the movies now from here on out are going to be independent directors that they can, control. They have a template now. One of the female directors who turned down Captain Marvel said, I wanted to direct the special effects scenes and they wouldn't let me. So I said, I walked, and I'm like, I honestly don't blame her.
Yeah. I don't blame her either. That's a smart move.
Yeah. So, and that's it's the law of diminishing returns. And listen, the Russo brothers were a great find. They are obviously like really freaking talented people. Mm-hmm. And, I'm sure Endgame will be an enjoyable movie, but as I've said before, and this, I'm not done with the Captain Marvel videos. She ruins the experience for me. So I'm not going to 100% love it. I'll probably like 85% love it, and 15% of not loving it will because Captain Marvel just existed in that movie. And there's no changing that now. And that's
you didn't have me.
I know that just seeing that just made it, man, I was going to make a really bad sex analogy, but
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know where you're going with it, buddy.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We'll do it with numbers. It takes it from a 10 to like a 7.5, not completely down, but just a little bit.
There's some shrinkage.
A little bit of shrinkage, like some cold water got poured on it, or we'll stop it there, but you know what I mean? I'm glad you were picking up what I was putting down there.
Yeah.
Tokyo Gaijin for 600 yen. Welcome back. Love the Enterprise. Hated last week's episode. Sorry I missed the last live stream. Hey, no problem. No apologies. It's all right. They are up there for videos. And hey, I've got an idea. So all the live stream, Friday Night Tights and Nerdrotic Nooner stay on the channel. I do not remove these from the channel. They stay up. So watch them all you want. Please share them. But the other special live streams, I'm going to start putting those on Nerdrotic Live. So we'll do them here, and then we'll put them on Nerdrotic Live. I'm still going to do stuff on Nerdrotic Live. I owe you guys a Doom Patrol review, and I'm going to rip Twilight Zone for about an hour. Tomorrow, there is a very special live stream at 5 p.m. The Game of Thrones Death Pool, our very last one. So I actually have a Death Pool sheet that I can email anybody who requests it, or I'll probably just throw it up on Twitter and Facebook, and you guys can just download. But I have one of Melissa's cousins put together a Death Pool sheet for Game of Thrones. We're going to be doing that at 5 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. It'll be a lot of fun. But it's all good. So did you love the Enterprise and Star Trek Discovery? I thought it was okay. Apparently they're going to be using that bridge for the Picard series. They're going to be repurposing that. Yeah, it was all right. It's clearly the uniforms are better. I didn't know the Discovery was that much bigger than the Enterprise. They had them right next to each other, and it's nice to know that a show that's essentially run by women, they still dick measure, and there was, they had to make the Discovery bigger, and it really exposes it for being I've always kind of liked the look of it, but when you put it right next to the Enterprise, it looks like shit. It looks terrible.
Really, I never liked the design when they initially, teased it out. I was like, this ship looks like garbage.
Yeah, it's too thin or something like that.
They could have gone with the classic design. I mean, that's the thing. I don't understand.
I don't understand.
I guess it's the whole 25% different thing. I don't know.
The Enterprise, yeah, I think it is. The Enterprise is like the coolest ship ever made. Like, that is the best design. End of story. I know people like the Millennium Falcon, but give me the Enterprise all day long. I also like the Battleship Yamato. That is my second favorite. Fucking love that. But someday I will have the master replica Enterprise when I have that much money to burn. Well, I could have bought one with what I wasted on a plane ticket. Oh well. Silhouetted animator for $5. Remember the scene in Alien Covenant when the dude's spine with his brain attached is severed and his body droops over? Disney owns that scene now. Yes. And
it's going to have flowers coming out of the brainstem.
Yeah. And wow, no, there's multiple meanings in your chat there, my friend. That is kind of what they've done to Star Wars and Marvel. If you think about it, they've taken out the brain stem. And by the way, they totally stole that from Predator. Okay. They did that in Predator too, where the body just becomes a bag, a skin bag. Still waiting on a Xenomorph Queen sing along. That's funny that you guys back to back on that Disney owning aliens. Yes, the Xenomorph is a Disney princess now. It is. Unfortunately, they took the one legit princess and demoted her to a general, Princess Leia.
Yep.
Because
general, that's more respectable than princess.
Bullshit. Okay,
I know that's. I'm pretty sure that's their fucking logic.
That is their logic. You're absolutely right, and it's a demotion. It's a major demotion.
Oh, big time.
Doesn't it remind you of when Denny O'Neil depowered Wonder Woman? And remember the History of Comics on the History Channel, which is great. If you guys ever get a chance to see it, it's old, it's dated, but the History of Comics History Channel special that was in 2003-4 was brilliant. Denny
They
O'Neil
made her like owning a fashion store or something like that. Yeah,
and she owned a business and she had no powers, and Denny O'Neil did it in the spirit of feminism. And Gloria Allred got on his ass going, what the hell are you doing? You just like ripped the one symbol of feminism we had and you depowered her. And I mean, that's in a nutshell kind of what's going on right now. So yeah. Chris Persia, Canadian $5. Any thoughts on the last Ant-Man movie being called Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, cementing the Wasp position, and does this foreshadow A-Force? Yes. I'm surprised it wasn't called Wasp, and yes, it does. You're right. And Wasp and Ant-Man. That movie should have been called Wasp and Ant-Man. She was bigger in all the posters. Did you notice that? She took center stage. I believe she had more screen time. Don't know that for a fact, but it seems to me Wasp had more screen time than Ant-Man in the second movie.
I honestly, I need to go back and check. I don't remember.
I did not like that movie.
Well, like I said, it's not the best, man. There's parts I like about it, but I mean, it's still filler to me.
I like
nothing
Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is great.
Yes, Paul Rudd is great.
Paul Rudd. I would have, my old co-host used to argue with me. I would have loved to have seen an Edgar Wright version. I think that would have been just fucking genius.
Same here.
I'd love to see him take a crack at a superhero movie. Maybe DC. You know what? If Edgar Wright did Plastic Man, that'd probably be pretty cool.
That actually would be great. That would probably be amazing.
And you can make Plastic Man freaking weird.
By the way, Odin, hey man, what's up?
What's up, Odin?
In the house.
Oh, all right, my bearded brother. He doesn't drink. I'm like, what are you doing up? I tried Doom Patrol. I don't understand how you can stomach every episode being centered around the goth Mary Sue. I stopped watching it. Ron, Sylvie, I haven't reviewed it the last couple episodes. I have definitely, the show has taken a turn for the worse.
Oh, you talking about Doom Patrol?
I'm sorry to report that a show that I was liking a lot crapped the bed the last two episodes. Crazy Jane, who quite frankly was annoying in the comics too. But they centered a lot around her. But at least in the 80s, this trope of abuse and everything, and that's the way it was in the comics, Ron. It was unique back then, and now it's not. And unfortunately, my friend's show is going to suffer from this too, which really sucks. The Boys is coming out on Amazon Prime, and it's a great series, but it is straight up deconstructing superheroes, and I think people are kind of done with that. I'm kind of done with it, to be honest with you. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a tough sell because it's a really negative. Where The Tick is a beautiful parody of superheroes with love, The Boys is the exact opposite. It's funny, but I don't know if people are going to go for it now. And they'll probably politicize it. So, Ron, the last two episodes of Doom Patrol I watched today, and they completely pissed me off. And like back to back, they dialed up the Danny the Street, which they could have done so many fun things with. They made it about with the tranny bar, basically, which you could have made that an element, but they centered it around that. And the Bureau of Normalcy, which again, whatever. But they really ramped up the SJWism in the last two, especially the last one. We got into Crazy Jane's mind and we went to the underground, and they had to go anti-man again. And it's like, God damn it. So I'm going to spoil it for you. The robot man follows her into her brain. She goes to the underground where all her personalities are. And again, you could have played with this, and they decided to just make it feminism. They made it her brain. Crazy Jane is a symbol of oppression. And when Robot Man goes to save her, the only way he's able to go in and pass one of the entities is because he's not a man, and he has to cry out multiple times, "I'm not a man, I'm not a man, I'm not a man," because obviously he's just a brain in a thing. And what makes you a man is obviously your wiener. So she checks to make sure he doesn't have a wiener, and then she says, "You're not a man." And then we find out that Crazy Jane is being, of course, suppressed by her. I mean, this, from the comics a little bit, is her father abused her, of course, because bad dads. And yeah. And when she addresses her father, she addresses him as an evil, disgusting man, not you evil, disgusting father or dad. She
or
says
person,
man.
yeah.
So yeah, it is really just overdone. And if they would have come out with Doom Patrol 7 years ago, it would have been original, and it wouldn't feel like these stories have been done to death. But just after watching Star Trek Discovery, Twilight Zone, and then Doom Patrol, and Gillette commercials and Marvel Comics for the last 2 years, and freaking ESPN and video games, I'm fucking sick of it, man. And I'm not going to shut up about it. And Doomcock said, "Close your wallets," and yeah, it's just gonna. I will close my wallet, but I will not keep my mouth shut about this stuff. But yeah, I'm done. It's fuck. I was pissed because that show was doing so good. It was, but they decided to dial it up. The Larry Trainer. The thing is, with Larry Trainer, what's hard to buy for me is the guy's been moping for 60 years. I don't care how much you love somebody unless you had multiple kids with them and you lived with them for decades. He had a boyfriend that he slept around with for a few months in the Army or in the Air Force, sorry. And he's been thinking about this guy for 60 years. Wow. Doesn't Crazy Jane have a personality called Sylvia? I think, Graham. Yeah. They pulled out most of her personalities, the ones we knew about. There's a bunch we don't. Yeah. But honestly, Crazy Jane, I knew was going to be a tough sell. And the actress who plays her is like kind of annoying. And it got really annoying. Like, I don't want to watch any more of, they need to, for one, they haven't become the Doom Patrol yet. They're very much in the Grant Morrison. Did you ever read the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol?
Hang on. No, I haven't. So Surf Tectonics is saying, breaking news, Starkiller base confirmed for Star Wars Episode 9.
Oh, let's go.
100 times the size of Jupiter. Oh, another ripoff of Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
here's the thing too. While you're looking that up, if they were to do that exact same thing to a female character, basically making them renounce their sex or whatnot, it would be, the feminists would be in a huge uproar and in a big old tizzy about stuff like that. If females got the exact same treatment that you're seeing as men right now, it's
I don't know. I mean, like, listen, I have a tolerance for this stuff. I expect some of it from Hollywood. We can't expect it to go away completely, and that's fine. But I'm gonna try to give you guys a ray of hope. They have dialed it up to such a ridiculous level that it can't go on. It simply can't.
I think if like the Gillette ad was an actual Super Bowl ad, you would probably see Normie starting the riot.
Yep. And this is the thing. This is what Hollywood does, and I've talked about this before. And
The pendulum
this
swing,
comics, the pendulum swing, and the trends go to Hollywood to die. They don't start there. But all of a sudden, for some reason, Disney has forgotten how creativity works, which is pretty incredible. But they've gotten so far from what they originally were that creativity works. It gets nourished, it grows, and it photosynthesizes in the streets. With
then you smother with a pillow.
Then you smother it with a pillow, and that's pretty much it. In its sleep, or set it on fire. Yeah, that's so they think they are creating the truth. They think they are creating the trends now, and when it doesn't happen and there's backlash, they have no idea how to deal with it other than silence us. And listen, everybody knows this. Go ahead. When you block somebody on Twitter, or you block, or until an official Facebook group blocks a YouTube channel, you just guaranteed that person at least 1,000 subs, at least, maybe more. Hey, I'm grateful. I'm obviously under the radar still, because I'm not. I was blocked by Will Wheaton, and that was probably just because it was a blockchain from EVS or something, because I follow EVS. Yeah. Nobody's like out and out blocked me.
Yeah, fuck Will Wheaton. I mean,
oh, fucking idiot. He's a hypocrite.
He's a big time.
I told that story on a live stream where he got off like what. Calling PewDiePie a racist and like it's such bullshit.
Yeah.
And yeah, just knowing what I heard him say at a dinner party one time. No more reboots, prequels, please. I know. Pan Farm Girl, thank you for sharing Comix Division's channel. Yeah, please subscribe to Comix Division, everybody. Yeah. And let's get back to the Star Wars talk. By the way, thank you. We got so many people here, and I know like everybody and their mother is live streaming right now. So thank you for choosing us. We greatly appreciate it. And I'm a little out of practice, but I will get there. And believe me,
you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
Giant wasp in Ant-Man 3 or we riot, said silhouette animator. I don't know if I'd riot. But you know what I'll write about if Ant-Man, I want Ant-Man to be Ant-Man in his own damn movie instead of his suit malfunctioning and him being just an idiot. Now it wasn't super dialed up, but what's her name? The Lost girl who played Wasp. I mean, she was okay. Evangeline Lilly. Yeah, I liked her better in The Hobbit than I did as Wasp. I just said she was not memorable to me. And that again, that's not her fault. It's what's going on. The main thing with this, with the writing for females right now, is a lot of it is still done by men, and they are writing females in fear. And fear of giving them any flaws, and they'll look like they're being sexist. So they're just being safe. And that's why we're getting so much generic garbage when it comes to men writing for women right now, which men can write women. They do it all the time, and vice versa. But now they're afraid to do it. And we just get these blank pieces of paper now. And
well, that's like the whole problem with what we've been seeing specifically with Peele, like the whole thing, him saying that, I'm not going to cast, any white leads. It's like,
why say that? Why say that out loud? I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, first off, you're limiting yourself. What if you were going to be offered like this great movie, and they're like, yeah, we're not gonna choose Jordan Peele because he doesn't want to, cast a white lead. That's the thing I don't get is to be a director, you have to be of that sex or that race. That's what's happening these days. It's like, they're casting an Asian. They're hiring an Asian director to direct the martial arts film from Marvel. I don't remember the character's name. It's like Shang-Chi, I believe.
Yeah, it's a master of kung fu.
Yeah, master of kung fu. So they have to hire an Asian director to do that, because if not, it's gonna be whitewashing or racist or whatnot. You have to have a female, direct Wonder Woman. Not that I'm complaining about Patty Jenkins. I think she's did a very good job. But it's just the idea of that you are so limiting these people's talents by saying that they have to be of XYZ background.
Well,
And that's the thing that disgusts me about it. So they're basically saying that Patty Jenkins can't direct a male lead led movie now. Essentially, is what they're kind of getting at.
Technically, what they're doing is against the law. I mean, they're not coming out and
No
saying,
shit.
yeah, it's against the fucking law. They're being discriminatory. And I know you know that, but I mean, like, it has to be said. And that's what might end this stuff, because if somebody really takes them to task, if Disney comes out and says out loud, we will only hire an Asian director for this movie, they have broken the law in California.
And that's the other thing too. You're right, man. I don't understand why everybody wants to segregate now, self-segregate. It's so weird.
Oh, it's happening in my kid's junior high, dude. I might do that one on the yeah. Like I said, I could dedicate a channel in my kid's junior high.
This is, I mean, the 90s was not like that. And that's the thing where everybody, it's a trope at this point about, God, the 90s were so much better, because it was so much better. I mean, yeah, you had shit going on that was bad, but we worked through it together. Yeah, it's like the internet. I love the internet. The internet has done such wonderful things, but social media has destroyed society.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna continue to cause things to deteriorate, I think, because everything was fine, and then this identitarian shit came out of nowhere. I won't say it came out of nowhere. It's been around. I know it never got big.
Social media will always be around. I don't know. I could definitely see a time where a generation that just gets sick of it and doesn't want to do it. I mean, like, yeah, I got to read this one. Dr. Meatball, good old Dr. Meatball. Rian Johnson is the guy KK keeps around at the Hollywood orgy to wipe up the jizz, Talboy.
He's the jizz mopper.
He's the jizz. Thank you, Dr. Meatball, for classing up the place a little bit. I'm about to read Gloria's $20 super chat. Gloria, I am so sorry. Dr. Meatball was raised by wolves, as was I. Just wanted to say hello. Here I am. I have some change to spend. Have a great night. Gloria Redmond Booth, thank you so much. It's good to see you. Sorry I had to lead in from that to this. Us men, we're little. We're male. What can I say? Dr. Meatball, you're hilarious.
I apologize.
No, I always do, but I don't really mean it. Mike, I'm just kidding, Gloria. Mike Brown, by the way, thanks again. The writer, Mike Brown, with the his Atlantis Chronicles. He sent me the books. I'm going to check them out. She's so much better in The Hobbit, but I have a thing for redheads with arms. With arms, as opposed to redheads without arms.
Without arms.
Okay. What about legs, Mike? That's not a deal breaker. That's good. That's good.
I have a friend that has a funny story about something like that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Guess who's in the chat? Gimp Rider. The Gimp Rider. She's still cute. Saw an interview where she was talking about having the wardrobe people make sure her butt looked good. She thinks hers is flat. Evangeline Lilly? No, she's got a pretty good. I mean,
well, we all know Brie Larson has like a pair of bricks in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Who needs the Chinese box office unless they've made a piece of crap like Aquaman? Dark Wolf. Yeah, I mean, Aquaman, I'm not going to say it was great cinema, but I enjoyed it. But I can accept people calling it a piece of crap. It was not great cinema.
Some of the things I haven't seen it yet. It just looks like it turns into CGI schlock at some point. And that's the thing I liked about Shazam, is that it kind of kept that down to a minimum.
Yeah, Shazam was definitely better than Aquaman, for sure. Shazam was probably DC's second best movie to Wonder Woman. Yeah. And Wonder Woman's nowhere near perfect at all.
No,
I would say it's an average movie. Gal Gadot was pretty good, but she doesn't have a ton of personality. Evangeline Lilly peaked at Lost. She's getting good. Breeze, that's the carpenter's dream. Somebody just there you go. Ramses the Great just says Canada. The Dark Knight was DC. I was talking about DCEU. Mutageki, not DC, not just DC. The Dark Knight was a very, very good movie that I liked a lot.
But did you hear Captain Marvel did so much better in the box office compared to Dark Knight?
Well, obviously it's better. Captain Marvel's clearly better because it made more money.
Well, the funny thing, because I have a video planned to talk about this, because one of the things that they mention is that, yes, adjusted for inflation, it still beats it domestically, hands down. But the thing that they don't mention, and it's something that you can't do with Box Office Mojo, is adjust the international numbers for inflation, because I'm pretty sure that would be different as well, which means that I'm pretty sure that Dark Knight would still beat out Captain Marvel.
Especially like whatever the currency China uses.
Mm-hmm.
Now compared to 10 years ago. Oh yeah, for sure. No, if you adjust anything for inflation, nobody's ever going to beat Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind is the biggest hit of all time, period. And Gone with the Wind came out, like a late depression. It was escapism when nobody had anything to fucking do. And it also spoke to the country at that time with its political stuff going on in there. And nothing will ever beat Gone with the Wind. I think every time it gets adjusted for inflation in current times, it's like billions, a couple billion it made. So yeah. And that's when movie tickets were 25 cents.
Wow, that's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't around. I don't know how long it was in the box office, but every time they adjust something for inflation, it's Gone with the Wind. And Star Wars. I remember when E.T. beat out Star Wars. I remember it pissing me off.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, there's no way that stupid E.T. movie's better than Star Wars. Well, I should think about that someday. Like YouTube videos I would have made when I was 12. I would have made one about E.T. winning special effects over Blade Runner at the Academy Awards. That one ticked me off. I would have made multiple videos hating on Woody Allen and Annie Hall beating Star Wars for Best Picture. Yeah, it did. Yeah, E.T. beat Blade Runner for special effects.
Wow, that's.
I mean, it's not even close.
I don't understand why I'm shocked at this, knowing what I know about the Academy Awards. It's always been political. It's not about the quality of the movie. It's not about merit. It's about campaigning for it.
Oh yeah,
I'm not surprised.
In 1939 money, Gone with the Wind made like $58, right? Adjusted for inflation, though, it's $2 billion now. Star Trek Continues is amazing. Jaro Essa, I agree 100%. I think it's the sets are fantastic.
Well, holy smokes. I mean, even for that time period, the domestic gross was 200 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot for a movie.
25-cent tickets.
1939.
Or maybe 10-cent tickets.
Okay.
Could have been. But that's when a nickel was like $5, A nickel would like buy you 3 things.
Okay, holy crap. Okay, so domestically, it was almost $2 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Nobody's
$1,806 million. Yeah, that's pretty damn impressive. That's just domestically.
Yep. Yeah, I've never bothered to see like Rocky Horror Picture Show. While it didn't have a great run when it initially came out, it's been in theaters for almost 50 years now, 40 years. Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of made some, it's kind of like Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon used to be on the Billboard 100 for decades. for 3 decades. It was, I believe. It finally dropped out, I think, in the early 2000s. And also, you can play it along with Wizard of Oz at the right point, and it does kind of work. But I mean, I don't know. When you're high, everything kind of works, or it don't. Depends on what you're on, to be honest with you. Yes, Montana Horseman, comic book superheroes unmasked, History Channel, aired June 23rd, 2003. It's on YouTube. It's fucking brilliant.
Yep.
It is so good. Watch it. It is a great history of comics. And even though it talks about the age of the superhero film, and that is when it's like in its infancy, what it's really good on is the history of comic books. So that you see like X-Men actors, and it's kind of cute how it's all beginning.
Now it's all fucked.
Now it's all screwed. According to Box Office Mojo, it was 23 cents. Average price of tickets was 23 cents.
Holy shit.
Dude, that's a lot of people going to a movie.
Yeah.
And there's no wizards or anything in that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing that blows me away too, is like, thinking that, Spider-Man used to like sell millions and millions of comics when it was like, 25 cents or something like that. I don't know if that's really the number, but it used to sell
it sold a couple million.
Yeah.
Comics used to sell like any comic
per issue. Per
issue. So like even the ones that they were going to cancel, Daredevil at the time before Frank Miller got on, the X-Men in reprints. The X-Men in reprints in the 60s was selling 1 million copies. Remember when before they went to the new X-Men issue 94, it was selling 1 million copies.
This problem. Is something, okay. I think I remember hearing something about this CD Horde. He says air conditioning. And I want to say there might actually be something to that.
I think you're, yes, I think I remember hearing that as well. Like, listen, it was during the later part of the Depression too, and it was cheap, but yeah, air conditioning. Hey, whatever it takes, CD Horde. Avatar was just bumped up ticket prices. Who wants to ask me that question? It says Dark Wolf says, why don't you ask Gary that question?
Which question?
Which question, Dark? I would be happy to answer it. Have you watched the movie Enter the Void? It's super long, but it's surprisingly trippier than Legion. No, I haven't, but I will check it out. Silhouetted Animator. I'm going to look up here. I don't know what question they were asking. Yeah. Repeat it, please, Dark Wolf.
Yeah, don't forget the delay. What happened to comics? They're dying is what's going on.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's in hospice. It's watching your old uncle die. It's pretty sad. Oh, Game of Thrones. Am I watching Game of Thrones? Yes. I am watching Game of Thrones. I am a Song of Ice and Fire fan. I've read all the books multiple times. We will be covering it live after it airs on Sunday. Doomcock will be joining me, and in future episodes, Anna, that Star Wars girl, will be joining. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., I'm doing a Game of Thrones death pool. And I already know one major death, which I'm not going to tell you, but it's surprising as hell. The thing is, it sounds like I'm not a fan of season 7 at all. Not a fan. I liked the battle scenes and they were cool, but everything that led up to them were, like having Gendry run back to the wall. Like that was so dumb. There were so many dumb things in it. And they made a bunch of bad decisions so they could have an all-female war council. So even the Whammon thing even hit Game of Thrones, which was free of that stuff. So I'm worried. When they got off of George R. R. Martin's source material, Dan and Dave lost their way, unfortunately. And they're very good at adapting George's superior source material, which they could have kept adapting it. There was a lot of decisions they made. They could have done Lady Stoneheart. They could have done the Battle of Marine. That was a little better. They could have done a lot of things. Euron Greyjoy could have been built up much better, played by a better actor. And Euron Greyjoy, Crow's Eye is like the best bad guy in books, period, right now. I mean, a child molesting sorcerer pirate. That's a good bad guy. I mean, he's horrible. God damn. If you're a fan and you haven't read it's called The Forsaken. It's a chapter from The Winds of Winter, which hasn't been released yet. And it's the Euron Greyjoy. I said Aaron Greyjoy. Euron Greyjoy. Aaron is the priest. And the chapter for The Forsaken, which is from The Winds of Winter, is from his perspective. And it's seriously the best chapter I've read in all the series. I can't wait to read the rest of the book. It's effing dark. And by the way, I'm going to be doing an ASMR reading of that on my other channel. I'm doing that in a dare. Where was I?
So Surf Trectonic is asking, but why are comics dying? They made a huge comeback and just fell off a cliff. For what reason? SJW stuff?
Yep.
And it's part of it. There's a lot of things that are contributing to it. It's not one thing you could point to. If it was just the SJW stuff, that would be one thing, but it's multiple things.
That's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
The things leading up, I'll try to give you the Reader's Digest version. The direct market relied too much on comic stores. They tried too many of the same gimmicks over and over again. It just didn't evolve. It was never meant to evolve. But the thing is, you can only maintain an industry and treat it like it's a weird form of a socialism monopoly. And it makes no sense, but that's what it is. It tries to be fair to everybody. It doesn't really grow. It doesn't market itself. And what the superhero movies thing did was forced it to grow, and it couldn't do it. So Disney takes over Marvel, gets cheap with Marvel. Marvel doesn't pay for good talent. Their comics start sucking, and it gets super political. People stop buying. Comic shops lose the normies, those important normies. Game over. And yeah, it's been dying for a long time. It's been dying a very, very, very slow death. But the SJWism and Marvel pushed it over the edge. In my opinion. R.I.P. Littlefinger. Yeah, that was the dumbest death in Game of Thrones, period. Was Littlefinger. There we go, Sean Tillman. It's the art and writing, Diamond, and no comic promotion. Yep. Yeah. And Diamond being the sole distributor, and nobody else wants to distribute comics. There's no desire to do it, which means it's not a healthy industry.
Yeah, I mean, it was vastly different in the 90s. That was the thing, is like, I remember when we were talking about this, like, I don't remember Diamond in the 90s. It's like, well, that's because they weren't around. Yeah, it's a bloody mess, unfortunately.
Yeah, Jason, is it Aki or Ake? Aki, hopefully it's a key. I did see that, and I read it all. It actually was on the Free Folk Reddit. If you want to see Game of Thrones spoilers, Free Folk Reddit, which used to be a really good kind of hardcore Reddit. Their whole motto used to be "We do not kneel," and then it became like kind of like with the rest of Reddit, kind of SJW, and yeah, there's still spoilers up there, but there is a major death. I mean, like, this is not news to anybody. Somebody's going to die in Game of Thrones. But I'm just going to say it's probably not who you expect in the way you expect. But I think they're trying to do. They really want to do another Red Wedding, and which they can't do.
How's your father, man? You cracked me up. we only kneel sometimes now.
Sometimes now. Yep. Only sometimes. I have a feeling, listen, Joseph, I don't think Tyrion's going to die in the books, and that's all that really counts, because George R. R. Martin has said his wife forbade him to kill Tyrion, which I don't know. George is kind of a sadistic dude. He probably will. I know I want Tyrion to sit the throne, shit, he's my favorite character by far. And wow, they don't know what to do with him. Once they got off book from George Martin, they did not know what to do with him. And he has this, a lot of people complained about the last book, The Dance. He has the best story in The Dance with Dragons. His story is the best. Him and Theon. Poor Theon. Ooh. Reek. My name is Reek. You got to remember your name. He's my spirit animal. Yes. Tyrion will be shorted. Oh, what's up, Bad Bunny? Tyrion got cucked. Yeah. Again, if they would have just stayed on book with Tyrion, but they had to rush everything. He goes on this like great adventure that they completely skipped, and then they run. That's what sucks is they skipped all this crap in the books, people, and then they go, "Oh, we're out of ideas, and we got to rush everything at the end." It's like, you fracking idiots! You could have used what was that you had to adapt and use that as an ending. They completely listen. It's George's fault. What they did was they were waiting for him to just finish Wins a Winner, which wouldn't finish the series, but they could have finished the book with that, or the series with that. And George got too distracted and didn't finish the book. So it's George's fault. And that's why you don't want to start a TV series with a book series that isn't finished with somebody who's notoriously slow. Now with The Expanse, it's not finished, but these guys crank out books. So yeah. Oh, well,
that sucks.
It does suck. It does suck. And the chances of us getting an ending to A Song of Ice and Fire, or George, we're not going to get it. George is already priming people for that.
That's kind of a dick move. I mean, does he just not want to finish it, or what? Is it just is he just like done?
I think he's bored of it. I think he's completely bored of it. He wrote himself into a corner. The last two books, I mean, in all reality, he's only written one book in 20 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, because A Feast for Crows and A Dance with Dragons are one book split. Now, within that time, he's written two like history books, which honestly, I could have waited for those or never had them. They're entertaining, but they were just filler. But he wrote a Game of Thrones in early 90s, and then A Clash of Kings in the late 90s, and then in the early 2000s, I think it was 1999, 2000, A Storm of Swords, which is the best book by far. Then 2005, A Feast for Crows. He cuts the Feast for Crows in half, turns the second half into Dance with Dragons. Took 7 years to write that. It was written, and he re-edited it for 7 years. And 2011, so he came out with a book when season 1 of Game of Thrones came out. And everybody's like, "Oh, we're off to the races now. We'll get the books will finish by the end of the series. Everything will be great."
No.
Problem is, George is a giant nerd, and he was making money. He was a well-off dude, and then he became mega effing rich, and everybody wanted to talk to him. And he's a nerd. He likes going to conventions. He's a comic book reader. He's an avid comic book reader. He's into a ton of stuff. He writes in his blog every day, but as my writer friend says, every time what he tells me is when I'm writing my book, I don't post on Facebook. I don't post on Twitter, because that is a word I can be putting in my book.
Right.
And honestly, I totally get it. Is Game of Thrones a ripoff of Lord of the Rings? No. It is what it is homage, but it's very much, I hate to use this term, but it's done right. It's subverting expectations, but in a very good way.
Not in the Last Jedi kind of way.
Not in the Last Jedi kind of way. What Rian Johnson was trying to do was trying to be
Is that how you
George
say
R.
his name
Martin.
is Rian?
That's how I say it. I don't.
Okay.
I'm sure it's supposed to be Ryan, but if you
Okay.
spell something with an I and you're a man, I'm going to call you Rian.
That's hilarious, dude.
Yeah. So, Rian was trying to be George R. R. Martin, and what George R. R. Martin did that was, he wasn't the first to do this, but it was definitely original. Was he killed the main character and the main villain at the end of the first season, or midway through the first, or almost all the not quite through the first season. But essentially, he killed Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader in the first season, and you were dealing with the offspring, which is a bastard and a couple of girls and a dwarf, an exiled or a son who used to be a hostage, and he goes home, then he gets his sausage lopped off, and it's unlikely heroes, and it's cool. And my favorite part is how magic is earned in his story. Like like if you do magic, you pay a price.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a major price. That's why not everybody can do it. Now Lord of the Rings is superior. Darth Scipio, like far superior. Don't get me wrong. I am a Lord of the Rings fan first. It is better because it wrote the book on fantasy. I mean,
absolutely.
It literally was mythology was the first fantasy, but that's what Tolkien was trying to do, was make modern mythology, and it just turned into dark fantasy, and there we go. Game of Thrones was originally based loosely on the English War of the Roses. You are right, Graham Strauss, and he's also mixed in, what he does is he's mixed in all history around the War of the Roses, but it actually started from some turtles, his pet turtles. That's where the seeds were planted to the Game of Thrones, were his pet turtles.
Okay, you got to unwrap that one.
Oh, okay. So like he had turtles, and he named them, I think they had kingdoms. So he was a big history buff. This is just speculation on my part. George R. R. Martin was a really lonely kid, because you don't world build like that when you have a lot of friends. You just don't. You either go to war and watch all your friends die like Tolkien, or you're just lonely. And
that makes
George R.
sense.
Martin is a pacifist, so he didn't go to war. So he had these pet turtles, and he had names for them, and they all had kingdoms, and that planted the seeds for the Game of Thrones for him.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
you're right. He probably didn't have a lot of friends. Nerds typically don't.
No, he's a straight up nerd. So
so do you want to talk about Hellboy?
You could talk about Hellboy. I didn't see it, but I want to hear what you thought of it.
Okay. How much of Hellboy have you actually read?
All of it. I've read all of BPRD. It's been a couple decade since I've cracked one open, but yeah.
Okay. If for all those who have actually read Hellboy, you're gonna hate the movie.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm just gonna warn everybody. Spoilers. Can you pull out the spoilers thing? That way people know.
Well, I don't have my paddle with me. Just
Okay.
Hey, spoilers. We'll type it in the chat. Spoilers. You have time to dip.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. If you've seen the first Hellboy, this is the problem when you go and you reboot a movie. It suffers a lot of the issues that Amazing Spider-Man did. They rehash certain things that they had in the first movie, like the death of his father. That happens, but it's not done as good. It does borrow a lot from the comic series, which is good. But the problem is that they adapted everything very, very poorly. So I'll be honest with you. Tom Harbour does a great job as Hellboy. Fantastic job. He was handed a shit script is the issue. There are things in the movie I really liked about it, but I would say I found that the first third of the movie is enjoyable, and then the rest is boring. The other thing too, they tried to focus a lot on world building. It was very fucking apparent that they were doing, because they brought up Baba Yaga, and the when I was talking to Weaponized Nerd Rage last night, apparently it's multiple storylines that they try to adapt. The primary one was the Wild Hunt, if you remember that.
Oh,
one.
really?
Yeah. They
That's
dropped.
that's deep.
Yeah, exactly.
Mignola didn't even draw, wasn't doing the art at that point, right?
Yeah, it's deep in Hellboy lore at that point, or stories, I should say. So that's kind of the problem, is that you find out that he's from King Arthur's lineage, and it's that if they were wanting to do a Hellboy universe, this was not the way to do it. And ironically, the best scene in the movie doesn't belong there. It feels so out of place. And it's the stuff with Baba Yaga. It was fantastic. The practical effects were good. She was creepy and disgusting. She's eating children. It's like, they really nailed the whole Baba Yaga thing really well, but it had like no place in the story whatsoever. It was just, again, tacked on to add the whole thing with her wanting his eye because he shot it out. So yeah, it's a big bloody mess is what it is. And it's a shame. And the other thing too is, oh my god, the CG for the movie was so bad.
Oh no.
Yeah. So they have Alice in it, and when she touches someone who's dead, she can channel their spirit, and they come out of her mouth. And it's like this really bad CG ghost with like the actor's face planted on it. It is so bad. It's pretty unfortunate. I tried to like it, but I don't.
So it's like bad television CG.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's like there's two fight scenes in it that I actually kind of enjoyed. There's the fight scene that takes place during the Wild Hunt, where Hellboy's fighting the giants, and that was kind of cool. And I mentioned this in my last night's live stream. It kind of reminded me of like playing Shadows of Colossus, where you have like this small guy trying to fight these giant monsters. That was really cool. And the very last scene at the end, after they defeat the Blood Queen, was pretty good, because it's like this one continuous take. The rest of the fights in the movie were kind of boring. And at the very end, they find Abe Sapien, who is not in his tank at this point. If you're looking at the Hellboy stories, he's been out of the tank for a very long time.
Yeah.
At this point. So
Yep.
yeah, it's yeah. Also, the dynamic that he had with Broom was completely off. It was very kind of adversarial, because you get a rehashing of his origins again, where they go to the island, and the Nazis are summoning him. The one thing I thought was cool though that they added in is that they added in Lobster Johnson.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So they mention Abe in this movie? Okay. So, but how was Lobster Johnson?
He was pretty cool. They had the mid-credit scene has Hellboy, getting drunk over, he's at Broom's grave, and then Lobster Johnson shows up, and he's a ghost. And that scene was really good. The scene that he had, he was the Nazi killer, right? So, I mean, having read a few of his comics, it was pretty cool to see that. But yeah, it's just a shame of how bad things were with that movie. Yeah, it's yeah, because the I haven't read The Wild Hunt, but I read a quick synopsis of it last night, and mainly that the story is really about Hellboy and Alice, and I can't remember the Asian dude's name, Dynamo or Dino, or I can't remember. He's the dude that turns into the Were-Jaguar. He's in it, even though he's not in the Wild Hunt stories.
He was supposed to be and he was supposed to be played by oh god, the guy who was in Deadpool, and then he backed out because.
Well, his character actually was Asian, though.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
I mean,
that's why he backed out.
Yeah,
I want to say Ed Sheeran, but I know.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that whole controversy that happened. I mean, he actually was one of the better, I guess, representations of the character. Part of the issue is that there's several things in it that it did not feel like Hellboy, like the way his character is. So yeah, dude, it was a huge disappointment. It was a huge waste of opportunity, and like I said, they tried to rehash too much that was already done. So yeah, not good.
That sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks. So how I feel about Hellboy? Let's see. I'm gonna try not to knock everything over. But this is how I feel.
Yeah. Did anyone really want a new Hellboy?
No.
No.
Check this out. But I have my Hellboy boxes, my short boxes with my complete Hellboy collection.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, I didn't. I honestly didn't need one. Especially, God, this was directed by. I want to say Taylor from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he was a Game of Thrones director,
and he's not good. You know, they could have gotten Miguel Sapochnik, who's back for this season, who directed Hardhome, the single best episode of Game of Thrones, even though it's in an era where the writing wasn't very good, but that's where they went to Hardhome and they fought, the Night King for the first time and the zombies jump off the cliff and stuff. And it's like the best fucking episode. They didn't get that guy. They got Alan Taylor, who just is very generic. So,
well, the thing I don't get is that, Del Toro had Hellboy 3 ready to go. And for whatever reason that fell through. And then they did this movie.
Money.
Yeah.
They got this one done on the cheap and you get what you pay for.
That was pretty damn apparent.
Well, yeah. And they just ruined Neil Marshall. I'm sorry. Why did I say Taylor? It's Neil Marshall. And Neil Marshall has done. No, he hasn't done Game of Thrones. I always get him mixed up. He's done Game of Thrones. He did Watchers on the Wall. Yeah, he did Blackwater and Watchers on the Wall. Now, Watchers on the Wall is a good episode. That's a good episode. Blackwater is a good episode too, but it's television. He directed 2 of the Constantine television show, which was very good. He directed a Hannibal. He's a great TV director. He did Westworld. He did Lost in Space.
Apparently there was like a lot of behind the scenes drama that was going on with the making of that film, which I guess could explain why it was not great.
Well, probably because they kept taking away their money. Supposedly Mike Mignola had something creatively to do with this for the first time because he didn't really have much to do with Guillermo del Toro. Here's the deal, though. I mean, you can't go from Guillermo del Toro to apologies to Neil Marshall, who's definitely directed some great television, but he's no Guillermo del Toro. I mean, you need to step up and get a good director. And yeah, it's just Hellboy is probably too niche for Hollywood, which is too bad because he's one of the best characters in comics.
Yeah, he really is. When here's the thing this is the kicker, man. Did you know how many people were in the theater?
Oh no.
10.
Oh.
10 people.
Yeah,
the theater was completely empty.
Yeah, nobody for one, Hellboy's kind of the story's done. I mean, it's not even out there in the world anymore. They still do stuff, but it's just not. He's very much a product of the late 90s. He's a 90s, early 2000s character that hasn't even been around long enough for people to get nostalgic about yet.
Yeah.
So maybe eventually, but it's too damn bad. It's too bad. Dark Horse is such a great company. Used to be such a great company. BPRD is what there should be a BPRD TV show, period. End of story. Where you have Hellboy show up once in a while or don't have him in at all. You don't need him, BPRD is a great book by itself. So, and there's plenty of characters, and that's a funky little world that he's created.
Yeah, it really is.
So, yeah.
That was one of the things Webb and I were talking about last night, is that I love how he's, taking these stories, these fairy tales and folklore and kind of weave them into Hellboy stories, like where he goes to investigate something. Because a lot of that is drawn from at least the earlier stuff. I don't know about the later stuff. A lot of that earlier stuff is really kind of drawn from, folklore and fairy tales.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think we'll be getting another Hellboy.
No, we probably won't.
But Harbor was good, huh?
Yeah, he did a really good job, and I kind of think he did a better job than Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman has a special place in my heart for as Hellboy. But initially, I was like, I thought he looked terrible in like the trailer and whatnot. But once I actually saw him on the screen, I think he did a good job. Like I said, it wasn't like his fault that the movie was bad. He obviously gave it his all.
Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, Perlman's a jackass on Twitter, so I've kind of like soured on him.
So
he got he spurged out quite a bit on Twitter, so I blocked him. I blocked Ron Perlman. I did. Love Q figure. Not sure anyone else has mentioned it. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Yeah, I meant to put the Doctor up there, and then Q kept falling down on the shelf behind me. And I'm like, God damn it. And I just put it on the microphone, and there he stays, judging you all. So Hellboy, not good. That's too bad. Doom Patrol takes a turn for the worse. That's too bad. Star Wars trailer, underwhelming at best, right? Everybody, can we okay, anybody, and listen, no judging here. We don't judge. If you enjoy something specifically, I hold nothing against you. Just show me the same respect when I don't like something. I mean, you don't have to listen to it. If you definitely don't like me talking about Captain Marvel, then don't listen. By all means, it's all good. Silencing people for not liking a film, calling it hate. I had a troll coming in here all the time saying I was not liking Star Trek Discovery is hate speech. It's like,
oh my God,
fuck yourself in every hole. And that's hate speech right there.
Oh my God. But this is the way they try and silence you, man. And that's the thing I find so ironic about that is like, dude, you are such an idiot, because that's going to be used against you one day. It's going to happen. The pendulum is going to swing the other way, and then the exact same shit that you were using is going to be used against you, and you're going to be crying foul.
Exactly.
And every time it has happened, you have people crying foul, because last year you had feminists getting banned from Facebook for calling men garbage, and it was because of hate.
Well, didn't Renfamous get kicked off of Twitter for something to that effect? I thought Ethan was joking, but he apparently was not. When somebody was calling her a man as a joke, obviously, and she's like, no, I'm a woman, and because she defended herself, Twitter took it the wrong way or something. I mean, I don't know what all went on with the thread, but then I don't know if she's still gone or not. Honestly, I don't care.
I don't follow that.
Yeah, apparently she got like booted for at least a couple days for that, which is, I mean, it's, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I'm putting up my thumbnail because I was very proud of this one. I worked on this one for a long time, like at least 5 minutes it took me to do this one. But apparently CBS asked all the websites to pull this Spock image down, and the reason it was in front of a cruise ship is there's going to be a Star Trek convention cruise.
So who's Spock?
That's Ethan. That's Ethan Peck, maybe, or it's a Spock from a Spock cruise. I'm not really sure. Does that look like Ethan Peck? I guess it does. It's hard to tell. But it doesn't look anything like Spock, and that is the Star Trek uniform that they use. That's somewhat like Discovery and not. But I love Ethan Van Sciver today said that Daisy Ridley's starting to look like Michael Jackson in the Remember the Time. And I'm like, oh my God, she does. I did do a Photoshop of her on Michael Jackson's face, but I'm actually going to use that for another thumbnail. So I'm not going to show that right now. But she really does. She's got, he said, after bad Michael Jackson a little bit. Yeah, I can say there's a definite resemblance there. But no, I work hard on these thumbnails.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah. Oh my God, Dark Horse Predator and Alien books were the best. Darth Scipio. Is it? How do I pronounce that, Darth? Is it Scipio or Scipio? Let me know so I can get it right. Epic Mojo, that's the problem. Epic Mojo solved our problem with Hellboy. Obviously, man, they need Hellgirl now. Yeah. Ron Perlman is such a vile person in real life. Joseph, he really is. Like, listen, creative people, I can say this as a somewhat creative person. Like, listen, there's way more creative people than me. But as somebody who likes to be creative, we can be crazy flakes. I mean, I get that. I totally do. But yeah, I'm talking specifically about when that kid stood his ground to that one guy, the Covington. I want to say
the Covington thing.
The Covington kid, the Covington bear, whatever. And he said some vile shit about that kid. I guess he later apologized, but
he's done he said a lot of stupid things, like where I don't know if he said he pissed on his hand and then shook somebody's hand. It's stuff like that. It's like, that's just really vindictive.
Here's what I think it is, and this is just my opinion. I'll use my I statement. So when I was abusing drugs, which I used to do, it really affected my judgment, like a lot. Especially the older I got, because when I did substances that some were legal, some were not, but they altered your brain. It affected my judgment worse the older I got, and it really regressed me to like a vile teenager, like a bad teenager. That's what it reminds me of. That I'm not saying that's what's happening though. Okay, Scipio. Okay, thank you, Darth Scipio. I appreciate.
Well, it's Latin. Scipio the younger, Scipio the elder.
Oh, well, duh. Yeah. Riddick, I didn't make it to Chicago because Junior got sick, and then I got sick. I'm not feeling good right now, to be honest with you. I'm feeling better than I did at the start of the live stream though. So, but the show must go on, people. I could not be away from you for another week. There was no Friday Night Tights for 2 weeks. It was killing me.
2 weeks. I thought we did last week, or the week before you left. Not last week. The week before.
That's 2 weeks.
Okay.
Week 2. We did the week before I left, but I missed 2 Fridays. I definitely missed 2 Fridays, didn't I? Maybe.
Friday.
I feel like I missed 2 Fridays.
Maybe we would have missed 2 Fridays if you went to Chicago.
Yeah, but I've been gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, it's nice to be back. I'd watch Hellgirl. If they had done it right and Mike Mignola did a Hellgirl, it would probably be okay. But I mean, listen, that's normal for comics. Anytime a character's been around for long enough, they create a female version for a lot of reasons. And did you know that one of them is rights? The reason they created God, I can't remember specifically. It was a DC character. It wasn't Superwoman. It was in the 60s though. and they created her for rights reasons to retain some copyrights and stuff. Yeah. Danny DeVito as Hellboy. How about as the voice? That would actually work.
As Hellpug.
Hellpug. Rhea Perlman. Real Perlman is Hellboy. Now you got it. That's good. Danny DeVito's wife. Are they still married? Rhea Perlman and Danny DeVito?
I had no idea he was even married.
Sorry, there's no need to apologize here, Rackus Wolfstar, ever. $5. Sorry for the Miss Marvel question. Do you think they're going the Warbird route and dealing with her alcoholism would have made a better film character arc? Yes. Giving her a flaw other than, well, she had one, trusting men.
Yeah,
that's a flaw. That's counted as a flaw. So, yeah, I think if they would have presented her, a lot of people bring up how they presented her in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the cartoon. If they would have done that, that would have been just fine. Or if they would have presented her like in Avengers Annual number 10, that would have been just fine. Or any of her original comics in the 70s, of course, modernize it. Make her a human being. Yeah. She was not a person. And on top of that, if you're going to do that, at least make her charming and funny. And she cannot do that. She is not funny at all. Did you watch Unicorn Store?
No.
Yeah. Don't. Definitely don't. Fly Girl. Thelma and Louise. Yes. I'm the trash man. I'm the trash man. What about the trash can man? My first impression, the trailer looked like anime. So yes, it probably does rip off anime. Last Airbender included.
There was really nothing about that trailer that made me want to see the movie.
Yep.
I felt like they were trying to bank more on nostalgia than anything else. Oh, look, here's Landau Calrissian. Oh, hey, look, here's a part of remember the Death Star? Remember the Death Star?
Yeah, remember, yeah.
Remember Emperor Palpatine? Yeah, that's what it kind of felt like to me. It's like there's nothing about this that seems remotely interesting. It's like, what's the story? What's the plot?
These are the people before the originals, before this trilogy started. They were trying to figure out a way to bring back Darth Vader.
Yes, that is
a true story. So,
yeah.
By the way,
but they could have done it. They could have done it as a Force ghost. They could have done that.
They could have done it as like a split, like if you want to get really dumb in fan fiction, the dark side and the light side could have split.
Well, okay, so I got the art of the Force Awakens, and it does talk about some of the stuff that Lucas initially did and some of the stuff that they planned. Like, that they had, I always heard rumors that they were supposed to be doing Anakin as a Force ghost, and they were going to use what.
You blanked out on me. You blanked out on me.
Is my connection shit?
Your connection just bumped out. Yeah. My connection is good. Yeah, but you could repeat what you just said.
Okay. All right. So I've heard rumors a while back that they're always planning on using Anakin at some point, and what they were going to do is they're going to use Hayden Christensen as Anakin, and he would kind of like flash between like Darth Vader and then Anakin Skywalker. That was like one of the things I heard. I want to say for Force Awakens, maybe it was The Last Jedi. I don't know, but yeah, that was one of the things I think they were going to try and do, but I guess they nixed it.
Well, I mean, listen, the most interesting thing in The Force Awakens to me was when Kylo is talking to the Darth Vader mask, and he's asking for his grandfather to talk to him again. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. What the hell's that? And they did nothing with it.
So, they did absolutely nothing
because they had no plan. They had no fucking plan going in.
That I don't know if they had no plan. I think they did have a plan, and Roundhead Johnson threw the plan out the window.
Roundhead Johnson, I think the last thing I heard was they were writing basically those two scripts simultaneously, and he had an idea of what J.J. Abrams was going to do, the plot points, but he was kind of doing his own thing. And I remember distinctly reading two J.J. Abrams interviews where he said, we didn't plot this thing out. I started some stuff so other more talented people, that was his terms because he's such a great self-deprecating guy, can finish it. And honestly, if I mean, he did set up a couple of interesting things. I'm not going to deny that. The Force Awakens compared to Last Jedi is a much better film. They both suck. Yeah, they both suck horrendously. But I mean, Episode 9, I'm going to watch it for the channel. I don't care. There's no way they're winning me back. I'm doing. Yeah. Diversity in Comics Bear, by the way, thank you for the $4.99 to finish your super chat there. Lucasfilm has gone from leading to copying. Yeah. And well, Disney's not original anymore. They can't even make their own stuff originally. They're remaking their own stuff. They are, I mean, the original trilogy remake is easily under a decade away, possibly sooner. But it's happening.
That was the reason why I made my my joke about we're going to have Princess Wokeness and Trans Solo, and Luke Skywalker will be gay.
Yep. Take it to the bank. Captain Kirk will be in Star Trek Discovery Season 3, and they will remake the original trilogy. I promise you. Tech Guy, $2. I'm really unhappy you didn't find a ghost or an EVP in that castle. I know, especially since I spent a good couple hours. Now I still need to go over the tapes, Tech Guy. I didn't have my good headphones with me, so I mean, that's like 2 hours of video I got to listen to. But yeah, I was walking around that castle for 2 hours collectively, looking for EVPs, looking for ghosts, waiting for anything weird to happen. I mean, I sat in the darkest, creepiest parts of that place. Nothing. Zip. Nada. My guess is, I mean, they're very Catholic down there, that they had some priests do some whoop-de-doo on it and got rid of the spirits. Yes, indeed. I like how they say Catholic down there, Catholic. Absolutely no notification. Tommelfinger. Yeah, sometimes. Do you ever get your own notifications?
No, I don't.
I get them once in a while. I got one for my premiere today. I accidentally did the Star Wars thing as a premiere. I didn't mean to do that.
I should try use my personal YouTube channel and sub to my channel and see if I get notifications or not.
You should. That sucks to hear, Tommelfinger. Thanks, man. Have you watched the Brightburn trailer? Yes. Evil Superboy horror movie. Yeah, I kind of liked it. Yeah, it kind of looks pretty good.
Sorry, you broke up. Did you watch what?
The Brightburn trailer. James Gunn's Brightburn, which is basically Superboy gone bad. I think The Lion King will be the exception to remakes, but only because it has cultural clout through 90s nostalgia, says Gary Hernandez. Yeah, I mean, like for the 90s, like young kids, I don't know. I can't speak on that, to be honest with you. I'm not, I thoroughly loathe Disney animated films. I know I'm weird, but I liked Aladdin, but I just don't like Disney films. I feel the same way as Josiah brought this up, as J.R.R. Tolkien feels about Disney. I was never into it. I liked Disneyland, but I was a straight up Warner Brothers kid. I like my Warner Brothers cartoons, and Disney animated stuff was like too, I don't know, it's too nice and too family for me. But I mean, like, that's why I probably just shouldn't speak on it, because I actively don't like it. So I wouldn't know. But I think remaking animated movies, while it certainly financially works, like Beauty and the Beast, did you see it?
It's lazy. That's
It's
lazy.
super
No,
lazy. Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't like the fact that they remade Aladdin. It's like that movie, came out like right when I graduated from high school. So I mean, I have a lot of memories attached to that movie. Why would I want a freaking remake when it was good the way it was?
Yeah, Aladdin is solid, man. I mean, like, I love Aladdin because I like Robin Williams. So,
oh,
God bless
yeah,
Robin Williams. Yeah,
huge fan of his. I know, man. That
came into
dude
my
was
comic
awesome.
store a couple times. He was a big comic book. He was an action figure fan. Like, he like 1/6 scale. He like Hot Toys, stuff like that. Yeah, he was into that stuff. I never asked him if he had a Hot Toys of himself because I know they made some customs. I'm trying to think, they didn't make anything official, but
I loved Mork and Mindy as a kid.
oh yeah,
That
I gotta
show
break
was
out
great.
my Mork Migo. It's somewhere in a drawer. Clone Wars was pre-Disney. It certainly was. We know you were a Thundercats guy, Eric Kate. I was straight up a Thundercats guy. Yep. $2 super chat. Thank you so much.
They fucking ruined that too.
Yeah. Oh, they ruin everything now. I mean, and the thing is, when it's not like it's going to make a comeback. There's a lot of this stuff that's not. I mean, this probably will be it for Star Trek. They're gonna they had this one crapshoot and they fucked it up. Star Wars, this is it for Star Wars.
They smothered it.
Yeah, with the pillow.
Smothered with a pillow
in its sleep.
Yeah. Same thing with Star Wars.
Fandom should have gotten a restraining order against CBS All Access and Alex Kurtzman, but they didn't. But it's just weird that independently, Alex Kurtzman, Chris Chibnall, Kathleen Kennedy all did the same thing. Like it's almost planned. But it couldn't be, right? Because those are 3 different companies and 3 completely different people in 3 different parts of the world. But for some reason, they came to the same conclusion with a major franchise, that it needs to be filled with a semi to extreme feminist, intersectional feminist agenda.
I think it's because it's popular. I don't think there's any like conspiracy
it's
around
not
that.
Popular though. You know what?
It is.
I don't.
It's not popular with the normies, but it's popular right now.
I don't.
It's popular with the left.
I don't believe there's a conspiracy, but I think there's one. I think there's a possibility. There's always the possibility. It's just weird that 3 random people came up with the same damn thing. Now it could be something as simple as they hire a trend marketing research firm and it's the same people.
Well, that makes more sense. That would make more sense to me.
But but then you can go one up from there. You could go one up from there and says, well, like who funds that? Who owns that firm? And then you find out it's somebody maybe involved in government. I mean, like we could really go in the weeds on this one.
I know, but my issue is I'm gonna use the exact same argument I use on my wife when she brings up the patriarchy. You might as well see the Illuminati at that point. That's
what's wrong with saying the Illuminati.
Because the
you know who you're talking to here.
I know, but the Illuminati died in the 1800s.
No, you only think they did. That's what they want you to believe. But it was the aliens. It's the alien Illuminati. Something like that. Okay. A nihilist blames. Why do you blame Monday, Matt? I blame War Campaign. There you go. I blame War Campaign.
Is that still a thing? Is that still?
I don't know. I just when the DJD show, who I haven't seen in a while. Oh yeah, because I've been gone. He always says blame War Campaign, so that's why I blame. I know they're the Hail Caesar, and I think it is still a thing. Yeah, I think they're doing the Vic stuff right now, which is that's still going on, right? I mean, I took off for a couple weeks. I haven't caught up on my Umbrella Guy videos. Is the Vic thing still going on? Are they still fucking with that guy?
It's still going.
God damn it.
Yeah. I see. I haven't really kept up with it, but I saw there. Clownfish TV has been still doing videos about it.
They're good.
It's still a thing.
You're breaking up.
They are.
I love
They are
Clownfish TV. They're really good. I blame Canada. I actually don't blame Canada. I kind of like Canada. Canada, the UK, Australia, our European friends, Germany, Sweden. We've got listeners everywhere. This is great. The Illuminati and the Bilderbergers. That's right. The Trilateral Commission.
The Bilderbergers thing is really weird, though. I mean, admittedly, that's some pretty weird stuff. But
yeah, I mean, when I say, I think when most people say Illuminati, they mean it like Kleenex. It's just the brand for what it really is, which is.
Well, I think, as far as like an actual organization, no, I don't think they exist. I don't think it's any secret that the people with the money,
they want to, they set the tone for at least the Western countries for how everything's going to go, and that's what those meetings are. Is like, where do we want to shift the public? It's social engineering. How do you do that best? Through pop culture. Well. Duh. And so it is happening. Society of Jesus. There you go. Or Jesus. It depends on how you want to say that one. We've got ourselves a doomsday prepper here, ladies and gentlemen, says Bloomin' Onion.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. You gotta be prepared.
As long as it doesn't consume your life, I think there's nothing wrong with prepping.
No, dude. I buy like when I buy a vehicle, it doesn't make sense. If it's an electromagnetic pulse, then I'm screwed unless you have like a 2-stroke engine or a 22R engine Toyota that you could jump start. But I buy 4-wheel drive vehicles all the time because you never know if the zombie apocalypse is going to go down and you need to drive over zombies.
Yeah, that's the reason why I have a Jeep now. I mean, I used to be a sports car guy, man. My last car before my Jeep, I had a Nissan 370Z. And we had a pretty bad hurricane hit Texas. It never made it all the way up to where I'm at, mainly because it stalled out over Houston. But that's the reason why I ended up trading my car in for a Jeep, because it's like, I got dogs and some cats and stuff, and it's like, how are we going to fit all this in my Z? Yeah, it's not going to work. Maybe I should get a Jeep.
And they're, especially, when you're in Texas, they're nifty to have when it's dumping and stuff. Okay. So, so real quick before we go, because we got to wrap this thing up. There was D Plus announced they're going to do a bundle with ESPN, Hulu, and I guess Disney Plus. So there's going to be, honestly, like I would pay money to not have ESPN in it. Can I pay extra to not have? And apparently it's going to be pretty cheap. But by the time this rolls around, it's going to be later this year. We're going to have actively 9 or 10. So what's up, Midnight's Edge? 9 or 10 streaming networks going. Some bigger than others, but we have DC Universe, CBS All Access, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, D Plus. Warner Brothers is going to have one. I know I'm forgetting a bunch. It's too much. It's too damn much. Sports cars can outrun zombies. That's true, Tech Guy. That's true.
But only on a a road clear of abandoned cars and junk and stuff like that.
Yeah, HBO is going to be in trouble. Midnight's Edge mentions HBO. So they dragged their feet for a long, long time, and I think they were waiting for that AT&T merger, Midnight's Edge. And they are relying heavily on the new Game of Thrones, which is going to be really expensive, and Damon Lindelof's Watchmen. That's not going to end well for them.
It's not. It's going to be bad from what I heard.
Yeah, Tom, we will be covering it here. Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark is here. Say hello, everybody. And yeah, you came in just in time for me to call it because I'm getting kind of tired. So I'm gonna make a new Patreon video. Sorry it's been so long because we got a bunch of new patrons. Gonna send out some packages. Your channel is monetized now. How long did that take?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Over a year.
Well, after 1,000, after you hit 1,000.
Oh, actually pretty quickly. It took like a couple weeks, I want to say. Yeah, I was surprised I got the notification. I wasn't expecting to get monetized. But yeah, I would say maybe 2 weeks.
Did they send you an email or did it just happen?
I got an email. Said,
Nice.
Congratulations, you're now monetized. I was like, freaking fantastic. Let me read through all this garbage and set that up. And then the other thing too, is like, oh, now that you hit that, you can get the super chats, but you have to be monetized first. So I had to wait until I finally got the monetization notice before I could get the freaking super chat. So man, they changed all the freaking rules with stuff, which kind of sucked. But hey, everything worked out. I'm monetized now. It's been pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Most excellent. All right. Plug your channel, man.
Okay. So Comix Division is my channel. I know some people have already posted links, and unfortunately I'm not prepared because I'm not sure what's killing my microphone, if it's the number of browser tabs I have open. So I closed everything out, so I have to go and pull my channel up unless one of the wrenches.
I got it. I'll do it. You plug away and I'll link your channel in there. There you go, right there.
Let's see. Should be getting some more videos coming up very soon. Unfortunately, me being sick on Sunday, really kind of torpedoed a lot what I was doing. I didn't get my Shazam video out until Wednesday, and so I'll probably be doing something Sunday, and we'll try and get back to that 3 video a week kind of thing again. But man, with Star Wars, oh man, we're gonna having a lot of fun content with the shit that's gonna be coming out of Celebration and whatnot, and all the shill articles that's is gonna be coming up with the toxic fanboys and the man babies. So yeah, there's gonna be some good stuff.
Yeah, like dude, today I've only done one Star Wars video. Other than, I mean, I did live streams, I did reviews of the movies, but it was the fan film one when they demonetized Star Wars Theories fan film. That was like the first Star Wars video I'd ever made. And I made my second one today, which was a trailer reaction, which was my first trailer reaction. I really hate doing those. I don't know if I'll ever do that again, but it did well. I mean, it's there's some people who are not liking it. I mean, usually do you have get vidIQ if you use Chrome? I don't know if you use Chrome.
I have 2, buddy.
Okay, so you get to see your hourly views and all that good stuff. You get to see the percentage of likes and dislikes without seeing it. You'll see, like, I'm usually at like 95%, which is pretty good. I mean, honestly, I don't care. It could be at 50%. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of cool to have. But yeah, you're at 1,400 subscribers now, dude.
I know.
So what was it? Was it a month ago? Or
it was, yeah, about a month ago. I want to say I was like at 680 something.
That's awesome. And now you're starting to get out videos that's getting going for you. That's good because this is a good channel.
And yet, Dos Scipio, I agree with you. I need to get more content out. Part of the problem, like I said, with I've been staying up kind of late, really kind of pushing myself, and then Sunday, really everything caught up with me. And so that's the reason why content was kind of light this week, is because I couldn't push myself again, or I just like freaking collapse like I did Sunday.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, we had a conversation.
God, yeah. So sorry if I was kind of like mellow on this one, everybody, but I'll be back in the groove. I know I did better in this one than I did the live stream when I came back, so it takes a while to get back into the groove. But I love live streaming. It's my favorite thing to do by far. Let's go to, we had a Motolicious for $10. There will be such an oversaturation of streaming service. Someone will have a startup that will offer consolidating all of the streaming services for a low monthly fee. Oh, you know it. It'll probably be Sling.
It's probably gonna be Sling, or it could be cable companies. I bet they're gonna start bundling those services.
Here's what I want. I want a la carte. I just want to be able to get a show, and you can. But the thing is, I can't get it live. But basically, I'm okay with a la carte. I'm okay with just picking the shows I want and just buying those shows. I don't want to have to buy a whole damn service. And honestly, like I watch an incredible amount of YouTube.
Yeah, I do too.
I see San Diego here. Gimp Rider. Better have lots of small tremors now and then. Takes the pressure off. I live in San Diego area. Can't get rid of the United States fairly fast, heading east to Arizona. Where in San Diego are you, Gimp Rider? If you want to give away, because that's where I'm from. That's my hometown, man. Odin, are you still in here? Or did you go to sleep? I haven't seen him in a while.
So. I haven't seen him in a while either.
Yeah. Tom at Midnight's Edge is here. What's up? Check out Midnight's Edge After Dark. Great channel. Check out Midnight's Edge. Great channel. Check out Odin's movie blog. Check out Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers, who I haven't heard back from. So I don't know if he's, yeah. I guess Ethan showed up in Chicago. That's good. So check out Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers, Ethan at Comic Artist Pro Secret, of course, our good friend Jeff at World Class Bullshitters, Jesse at Mindless Entertainment, our good friend Anna, that Star Wars girl, Josiah Rises, John Talks, Bulls Trek, Clownfish TV, That Umbrella Guy, Englantine, I Love Comics, your boy Zach. Whenever he changes Cecil, because Cecil is love. Everybody should check out Cecil. And I'm trying to think, I used to be from La Jolla. That's where my mom grew up. La Jolla is like the best town. It's kind of expensive, but it's like the best town. Mecha Random 42. Check out Mecha Random 42. I know I'm missing some. Computing Forever and the Dave Cullen Show. Check both of those out. Not that they need my help at all.
Yeah, seriously. This show is great.
But no, I wasn't there. I'll probably meet Anna or Jesse eventually because they're in LA, right? So I'm in LA all the time. Cecil is love KSS. And Doomcock, my friend Doomcock, who will be co-hosting with me this Sunday for the Game of Thrones recap afterwards. And I will be doing a Death Pool Saturday at 5. I've got a couple of Doctor Who videos coming. I've got a Star Trek breakdown and an Orville breakdown. We talked about the Orville. All right. And Josiah Rises. And that's right, Darth Scipio, they do not drink. I was supposed to hang out with them and not drink. Bolvine DeHerder says he wants episode 9 to be awesome. I think we all do, but I just don't think it will be. But I want it to.
Yeah,
that's my hope. What was that, Comics? We keep losing Comics. All right, we're gonna cut out. Hail Doomcock, Cotton Candy Beard Gary. I totally agree. Night, Gary. Hope Nerdrotic Jr. gets better soon. Silhouetted Animator, thank you for the $2. My biggest worry is like he doesn't feel bad. Like I don't want him like riddled with guilt. So I've been keeping a very happy face. I'm like, everything's fine, everything's cool. But when I was watching the live stream at Patty Max, I have to admit I was like, nah, damn, that's a once in a lifetime, man. You're not going to get that chance again. Well, that's parenting. Any of you out there who are parents, how much stuff have you canceled for your kids? And I do it a million more times. My kid is awesome. Both of them are. Even the big dumb one who lives in LA right now. Love him to death. I'm making sure I didn't miss any super chats.
Yeah, you have 2 that just came in.
I do. I almost shoot. Oh, Fuzzy Pickle. Oh, Fuzzy Pickles.
Silhouetted Animator for $2, and then Fuzzy Pickles.
Fuzzy Pickles for $1. Thank you, Fuzzy Pickles. What an interesting name. It's like I like pickles, but I don't want them fuzzy for sure. Silhouetted Animator, $2. Again, thank you. He says, "Night, Gary. Hope Nerdrotic Jr. gets better soon." And I'm just going up the list here to make sure one didn't like sneak in. I got that one. Okay, we good. Thank you for all the super chats, everybody. Please check out nerdrotic.com. Check out the live stream schedule, which I did update. Now, yeah, I did miss Doom Patrol, but I need to think about it before that's why it's going to be on the other channel, because I'm probably going to rip the hell out of it, to be honest with you. And the Nerdrotic Junior returns on Monday and Wednesday, and it returns on Patreon. And again, there's the videos coming out. You got anything else, Comix Division?
No, I'm good, man.
All right, everybody, have a great evening, and may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao.
Laters.